What's good with it, BlakGooseTV family, man? Double salute as always. It's your boy Fluenceboxing. Flew back in the building once again, man. Nothing but respect to the people. Happy Tuesday night to everybody. Hopefully, everyone is feeling solid. Hopefully, everyone had a good Tuesday. And if you didn't, I'm hoping if you do end up hopping up in here, at least your Tuesday night can be a little better. You can forget whatever things y'all was dealing with, whatever negativity, whatever the case may be. Y'all can come up on here and just be on the positive side of the game. You feel me? So I just want to say nothing but love. I want to say salute, 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 double salute to be in fact and to be more accurate with it to all the people up out there and anybody who's gonna come up in here, whether you're a family member or not. It's nothing but love. It's nothing but respect. It's nothing but positivity. Keep your head up. Never keep your head down. There's going to be times when you're trying to figure shit out. But I promise you, right now, don't ever stay too much in that negative place. You know what I'm saying? Let it come and then let it go and then keep pushing forward. Now, with that being said, I want to say nothing but love to everybody as always, man. If y'all come up in here tonight, man, if y'all come up in here tonight, please, first and foremost, hit the like button down below. For real, subscribe to the channel if you're not part of the family. But most importantly, hit the like button, comment on this joint because we working on, you know what I'm saying, getting back into the algorithm. Y'all know I had a little hiatus and I ain't even gonna go into detail on that because if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. It is what it is. But we're working to get back in the algorithm. We staying consistent. Like I said, new year, new me. That's what everybody say, right? Well, I want to switch it up. I'm going to say new year, new YouTube consistency. You feel me? We coming with the videos every single day unless something happens which makes it hard for me to do something and record it and let y'all hear everything I gotta say. For real, man. So nothing but love to the people. Like I said, we're gonna keep it consistent. We're gonna keep it with the content. Don't matter the circumstances, don't matter what type of equipment, no matter how everything looking. I'm gonna be talking to y'all about everything that needs to be talked about, whether it's gonna be boxing, whether we're gonna be watching the basketball games, whether we're gonna be doing influence lines, whatever the case may be, whether even we chopping it up just to chop it up. I'm gonna be dropping that content. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna see the consistency and we're gonna grow to the level, but also you're gonna see the presentation change as well. We ain't there yet, but we're gonna be there soon. Like I said, give me a 2 month period. We're gonna be going crazy with it. Nonetheless, till we get there, let's just keep enjoying our nights. Let's keep enjoying the conversation flowing. Let's keep enjoying the love. You know what I'm saying? So once again, man, if y'all come up in here, man, hit the like button, get your boy into the algorithm. So as we continue to do these lives, as we continue to do these, we can have more people hopping up in here and saying their opinion. Because man, when it comes to fluence boxing, I always like I want to turn fluence boxing into a panel. I don't want it just to be about what I said. I don't want y'all to just, majority YouTube channels. And obviously there's other YouTube channels not like this. Obviously there's other YouTube channels that's debate channels, panels, all that good stuff. But I don't want this to be a channel where y'all just coming in and hearing my opinion because you know what I'm saying? My opinion, it obviously, the most obvious in the world is it isn't the only opinion out there. So it's like, I want to hear what y'all got to say. So when I do these fluence boxing, I'm going to talk my talk. I'm going to say what I got to say, maybe for 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, depending how things is going. But I'm going to drop the link so y'all can come up in here and y'all can say what y'all say. So we're trying to build this up to the point where we're in the algorithm where more people can come up in here. If y'all got something to say, y'all not just listening to me and not just disagreeing with me behind the screen or going into the comments trying to keep up, whether, you know what I'm saying, depending on your internet, if you're behind, you're in front, whatever the case may be, I'm going to drop the link so y'all can come up in here and say what you got to say your two piece. Now, um, there is one thing that I've been trying to get better at, and I feel like I've been kind of good at was I've been trying to start a little bit earlier when it comes to these lives. You feel me? One, for my sake, so I'm not going to sleep crazy late all the time. But you know what I'm saying? We having good conversations, things going good. Like last night was fire. Last night was a good time watching the Lakers game. You know what I'm saying? Ended up going later than I thought. So if that happens, I never trip about it. But I do be trying to start earlier now. So you know what I'm saying? One, if we have more time when it comes to live streams. So in the case of we do really start chopping it up, we got, you know what I'm saying, it can go later. I don't got to cut it early. And then also too, just in the sense of, you know what I'm saying, maybe more people will be a little bit more in tune. So tonight, man, y'all don't be scared, man. I'm gonna be dropping a link at some point. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. Y'all already see the topic. The topic is controversial. The topic has to do with a particular boxer that everybody loves. And you know what I'm saying, another boxer that majority of people really don't like. Obviously, there's a sprinkle of another, boxer that people really do hate. It's like we got two hated fighters, we got one love fighter. I'm probably gonna be giving a pretty controversial take when it comes to the whole scenario. But either way it goes, man, if y'all got anything to say or disagree with me, just make sure y'all drop it in the comments, say something, and at some point I'll drop the link. With that being said, we here Tuesday night, Big chilling. Um, I don't know if y'all check the community board, man, because I remember I used to update the community board like crazy, like no cap. I used to go crazy with the community board, like for real, for real. Um, I definitely for sure kind of fallen off with that. That's something that I should probably kind of get back up when it comes to community board, like doing the polls and stuff like that, because you guys used to be real active on the polls. So y'all, y'all hold me accountable for that. Like y'all hold me accountable. I'm gonna try and get right. I'm gonna try and get at least one question a day in the polls. Like I used to kind of overdo it and try to do 3 questions a day, do the videos, all that type of stuff. But since right now I don't really have the capability to do the short form videos, the way I used to do it, I'm gonna make it a goal right now. I'm telling y'all right now, speak it into existence, put it out in the atmosphere. I'm gonna start doing one question a day on the community board where you guys can go in and you can vote. I'm gonna start that tomorrow. And then another thing I want to also start doing is, at least as of now, with the situation I'm in, dropping maybe at the very least 2 short formed videos that you guys can just watch, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, and it gives you an update on whatever it is. Now, if there's a lot going on in boxing, it may be more, but the goal from now on, every day, 2 short form videos, and then also one question in the community board. So not only are we going to be active on the live, I'm going to start doing those as well for those of you guys who are really interested in the long format type of stuff. I'm gonna start giving you the short format type of stuff too. Obviously, it's not going to be coming in the way I want to as far as presentation, but like I said, man, consistency with content is kind of the goal right now until we get to that point. Obviously, where what I'm saying, everything comes together and you got the consistency with the presentation, the production, and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So rock with me. As always, man, show your boy some love. I'm showing nothing but love back. But I'm gonna hold myself to that, man. I'm gonna remember that for real, man. So tomorrow's gonna be the first time starting that back up. But respect to the people once again, man. Double salute, man. Stay blessed, not stressed. We here. We here. We got an interesting topic to talk about. A very interesting topic to talk about. And like me personally, I feel a way about it, right? I feel a way, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, whether it's neutral. It's an interesting situation personally when it comes to boxing because, we all have our ideas, we all have our positions, what I'm saying? We all have our perception, opinions, whatever the case may be, on the whole Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. situation, right? Majority, at least from the outside looking in, when you look at a lot of people who love boxing, watch boxing, or at least people who really love, maybe they're not the biggest fans of boxing as a sport. And what I mean by that is they don't understand the entirety of it. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to go in depth of boxing as far as like what it takes to make fights happen, promotional companies, contracts, etc., all these different type of things. But really more so you're a fan of a particular boxer, right? And that's sports period. Like majority of the time, like when you look at people who are fans, people who enjoy sports, whether it's basketball, boxing, hockey, soccer, a lot of times you don't really get yourself involved in the organizational ties or the behind the scene things, the contract signings. Usually it's like, yo, this is my favorite team, that's my favorite player, and I'm a ride for that. And like that's completely understandable because it goes on everywhere when it comes to sports. Period. And boxing is the same thing. A lot of times when it comes to boxing fans, the only thing they specifically really care about is this fight being made? What I'm saying? Is my favorite fighter getting the chance that he enjoys? What I'm saying? Like is things in place where he has the opportunity to fight the best, right? They don't really care how the fight gets made. They don't really care the stipulations. They don't really care the obstacles. They don't really care the ins and outs of how it happens to them. They think of it as like kind of like y'all seen YouTube street beefs. Like that's how they think things go. Like, oh, that guy wants to fight that guy, so all you got to do is set it up, and they should be willing to fight each other type of time, right? That's how a lot of people be, right? That's how they see it, but they don't understand the promotional organization of the contracts, and a lot of people don't even want to hear that. A lot of people don't want to be like, don't talk to me about the contracts, don't talk to me about the organization. Just get in the ring and fight, right? Even though we all know that's not the situation. You know what I'm saying? There's no way LeBron James could announce he was going to Miami without signing a contract. So, um, like I understand that because us being fans, us looking for entertainment, we're looking for entertainment. We don't want to hear all the other stuff. We just want the fight to happen. And then I don't care what you got to say, why it's not happening, if it's happening. Like at the end of the day, it's like I just want the fight to happen. Period. So that's how a lot of people look at it. Hey, yo, what's good? Salute to Let's Talk About It. Was good with you, bro. We'd love to hear your opinion on this topic. But so it's like that's how a lot of people look at it, right? So, when you look at the narrative, and it's really crazy, man. Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford has been talked about possibly happening maybe for like 4 to 5 years now, right? But within that 4 to 5 year span, I might be over exaggerating, maybe it might be 3 to 4 years, but within that span of period of time of people talking about wanting that fight to happen, there's always been an A side, there's always been a B side, there's always been a good guy, there's always been a bad guy. And if you really want to think about it, think about movies, you know what I'm saying? That's the best entertainment you can have. You know what I'm saying? You always want, if you want to get the most out of something, you want people to ride for one person and then you want people to not ride for the other. That's how you create and generate the most eyes. That you can create and generate the most money. But in this particular situation, obviously, it's no different. Unfortunately, even with that being the narrative and there being a good guy, a bad guy, an A side, a B side, it hasn't generated enough support, enough people interested in the fight where it would be made by now. Where and a lot of people. Okay, before I get into that, so what do I mean by this? Terrence Crawford has always been looked at as the quote unquote duck. Okay. And I want to preference this too, because a lot of people will try to come in here and say, oh, you're a Terrence Crawford fanboy, da 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 da, right? I'm not a Terrence Crawford fanboy. I'm not even close. Now, who I would say I am a fanboy of is Keith Thurman, right? And obviously, we're going to be talking about that as well. So I may be a little biased when it comes to Keith Thurman and what I'm talking about with Keith Thurman. I'm always upfront with y'all. I don't got no reason to lie, nothing like that. So that's for real. But right now, I just want to preference everything and kind of build a foundation before we get to the building. You know what I'm saying? Let me get the foundation, then we'll start building on the house, right? So Terrence Crawford, throughout this time of this supposed super fight of Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford happening, he has been the guy looked at as if, oh, the fight's not happening because of you. You're the duck. Why'd you resign with Bob Arum? If you wanted to fight, you should have signed with PBC, Al Heyman, right? It's never the other way around. There's never anybody ever coming in and saying, well, why didn't Errol Spence go ahead and go over and sign with Bob Arum in Top Rank? There's never been that situation. There's never been that thought process. It's always been like, why hasn't Terrence Crawford sacrificed everything? Why hasn't Terrence Crawford done everything in his power to make the fight happen? Because apparently it's just so easy to make fights happen with PBC and Al Heyman, right? So with that being the narrative, we now can fast forward to as of recently as last year, correct? And we have a announcement, or we have a rumored fight happening between Crawford and Earl Spence. Finally, we're all so happy. Like, this is the fight we've been waiting for. Da, da, da. Within that three-year span of us speculating that the fight happening, Earl Spence is proven to be the top of the echelons of the welterweight division, and so is Terrence Crawford. It's like it's really undeniable, right? However you want to see it. People can say Errol Spence is better than Crawford. Some can say Crawford is better than Errol Spence. One thing you cannot dispute, one thing you can't disagree is if you're talking about the top two at the welterweight, either goes Crawford Spence or it goes Spence Crawford. There's no disputing with that. So, you can argue who's better than better. That's fine, but you can't really argue anyone in that welterweight division is better than them too. Now, and this is coming from a guy, like I just said, who is a fanboy of Keith Thurman, right? I can try and make an argument and say, oh, well, Keith Thurman, but at the end of the day, look, I'm gonna be just 100 with you. What is presented to us, what we've seen, they're the top of the food chain, and I would say coming in that third spot is Keith Thurman. I'll get to that and I'll explain it, but we're not gonna like I said, let me build the foundation before we start. You know what I'm saying, putting up the framework for the house. Okay. So with that being the thought process in the situation, fast forward to last year, and we have the rumored fight between Crawford versus Earl Spence supposed to be happening late last year, right around November, supposedly. Now, obviously, we're in 2023, so we know the outcome of that. The fight didn't happen. Okay. And even with the fight not happening, everyone still blamed who? The guy who's been the consistent bad guy. We got to keep the same narrative, right? It's entertainment. It doesn't make any sense to have Superman fight Brainiac and then all of a sudden they have a random movie where Brainiac is the good guy, right? It doesn't make no sense. No, Brainiac is always the bad guy. Why all of a sudden you're going to do Superman 3 and then all of a sudden you're going to make Brainiac the bad guy and Superman? That don't make sense toward entertainment. So you have to keep the same narrative, and you have to understand that media and marketing does a very good job for people to be able to be, I don't even say manipulated, to be able to find things that support their narrative and be able to exclude things that may go against what their narrative is. And so, what do I mean by that? What's my point? What am I trying to say? When it comes to Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence being allegedly rumored to happen in November, and then supposedly Terrence Crawford agreed to all terms, and he was the duck. He backed out, and then he ended up going with David Abiyasan because that's what everyone is saying, and everyone's saying that's the case. You guys have to understand. Well, you know what? You don't have to understand. You guys can think that. You guys can believe that. You can say that's facts. But at the end of the day, if there is no contracts that are signed, then there is no ducks. If a contract is signed, it's very hard to back out of because there's stipulations, there's things in place where it's like if you back out of this contract, it's what it is. So if there's no contract signed, how can you duck someone, right? But people don't look at it that way. People just say, "Oh, if that's the fight you want to make, they don't, nigga. They can say, I'm not paying you no money. If you want to be the best, you should take the fight." I understand that. But at the same time, I can come at y'all and be like, hey, well, the job you work at, if they came to you and they said, oh, you the best performer in our job, well, the best way to prove that is I ain't gonna pay you like you the best performer in our job. I'm gonna pay you like everyone else or lower. Would you sign that? Would you take that paycheck? Would you be okay with that? Or would you fight for your money? Right? But people don't want to hear that. People don't want to understand that entertainment is a business, business is entertainment. And this is the sad part when it comes to boxing, right? Let me build this foundation. Right? I'm saying, let me work. The sad part about boxing is the only sport where we do not give fighters the benefit of the doubt when it comes to making the best choice career-wise. Even though the one thing, like this is funny to me, like the one thing boxing fans would do, right? They'll be the first to be like, oh, well, they take damage. Like you can get hurt. You can really get killed in the ring. Like boxing is a dangerous sport. It's a man sport. It's a real sport. Like you in there toe to toe. You can't turn to nobody, right? But in the same breath, they'll talk about a football player. Go get your money, bro. Get your money. Sign that big contract. Like think about every other major sport. Think about football, right? Hey, Lamar Jackson. Hey, man, don't like play careful. Like don't get yourself injured where you lose that big contract. Get your money, right? Basketball, same way. Get your money. But when it comes to boxing, for some reason, people be like, who cares what money it is? Get in there and fight. And I think the reason behind that is, and like this is me personally, like what I've known is a majority of the people and fans of boxing who think that way, they really don't respect the sport like that. What do I mean by this? What am I saying? Boxing is one of the few sports, especially when it comes to the majority who watches, they've never even trained. They've never even tried to learn the craft. All they ever did was sip beer and watch the TV, right? When it comes to basketball, majority it's like, oh yeah, you can play pickup basketball and be the weakest, right? You can throw around the football, be the weakest, right? And for some reason, because of that little bit that they can do, go out and, play pickup with their boys or, what I'm saying, play flag football, whatever the case, they get a different type of respect because you put yourself in that position and you realize how much of a bum you are in the sense of that particular sport. And you say, go get your money, right? But when it comes to boxing, it's very hard to put yourself in a position where you understand how hard it is because you literally have to take it. Like boxing isn't something that, especially us as our community, you just do, especially in a serious manner. So I realized like boxing fans have a delusion where they think it's as easy as just go take that fight and they don't ever care about the money. But when you talk to them about their favorite basketball player, a favorite football player, go get that money because you might get hurt. You don't know what happens in your future. But boxing, when it's a much more dangerous sport, for some reason people don't say. And the reason why is because majority of boxing fans, you have never ever put a pair of gloves on to understand what it is. You'll say it's the sweet science. You'll say it's one of the most intricate sports ever. It's so hard to learn, but you've never even put yourself in the most minute situation as even just going to the gym for one day and training at a legit boxing gym just to see how much hard work and effort is put into it. And so that's why I say a lot of you fans is the most fickle motherfuckers, because if you want to say it's all about, oh, it's a duck, all you got to do is just fight that fighter. I'm like, man, you just capping because you don't know how hard these fighters work to get to the situation they in. And for them to, especially a Terrence Crawford, to, even with all the hate all y'all motherfuckers give, to still be talked about as pound for pound number one, which means yo, hate don't mean that much. For y'all to still be like, well, just take a trash deal with PBC. Who cares? And not care about the fact that he's trying to make sure he cements his future, especially how deadly the sport is. It shows me y'all not real fans. Now, of course, y'all might pay for it. Y'all might be like, I can name off all these historians and all this stuff. All that is cool. But if you cannot respect, especially in 2023, if you cannot respect a fighter in boxing at the top of the top, trying to make the most money he can so he can get out with making sure his family is straight. If you can't respect that, I look at you and I say, you're not really a boxing fan. You more so just here to see niggas get their brains punched in. That's it. Right? Because it's very interesting to me when it comes to the entire speculation, or excuse me, the entire criticism of this whole thing where Terrence Crawford stays the bad guy, is the biggest criticism is you're a duck. You went and took more money against somebody who we feel like isn't that good. Doesn't even make any sense. So he should take little money and fight the best of the best. Does that make sense? How are you fighting supposedly the best welterweight, Errol Spence, and making less money against him than against the guy in David Aviasson? Does that make sense? Make it make sense. And when you talk the numbers, when you stay specific, when you say these things, the first thing people are going to say is, I don't care about that. We just need to see them fight. And it's like, it's hard for me to have conversations because it's like, you can't differentiate the two. You can't separate the two because they're one and the same. If the contract ain't right, the fight's not happening. If the contract is right, the fight will happen. Simple as that. Why aren't we, if we're talking about this fight being the biggest of the biggest, why aren't these guys being paid the way they are? Well, Terrence Crawford ain't a draw like that. Well, if Errol Spence was that big of a draw, they both would be getting paid good. As I checked, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury got paid big money. Big money. And this was when people were still questioning, I remember Tyson Fury, one of his first things he would say before the first fight is like, more people know me in America than they know Deontay Wilder. People question if Deontay Wilder was a big star, even though he was an American heavyweight and he was a champ. Tyson Fury, yeah, he was a star over in the UK, but remember, he was banned from fighting in the UK until recently. And he came off that long layoff. So it's like people, if when a narrative is created, obviously it's very easy to follow, especially when it comes to sports, especially when it comes to entertainment. You want to hear what people got to say, you want to think what people got to say, and then you just want to follow the narrative. But the foundation that I'm laying down, circle everything back, excuse me. Simple terms, right? Supposedly, allegedly, we had Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. That was supposed to happen in November. And the fight did not end up happening because Al Heyman told Terrence Crawford, this is what you're going to end up receiving. This is going to be the terms, and this is what you can agree to. Terrence Crawford was fine with those terms, and he agreed to all of the terms. You guys got to understand, verbal agreement is different from a contract agreement. So you can verbally agree to all these different things, and then when the contract is in front of you, a lot of times what people don't understand when it comes to business, especially if someone doesn't think you're represented right or respect, they're trying to get over on you in the sense of, we can verbally agree to these things, but the contract may not actually say the same things that we verbally agreed to. And based off of what Terrence Crawford has told us, when that contract got slid over to Terrence, he had his people read through it, and he said, hey, bro, this is not what we verbally agreed to. This is not what we verbally agreed to. So please, I'm asking you, put in the contract what we verbally agreed to and we can sign. Al Heyman fiddled his thumbs. He felt like he can get over on Terrence Crawford. He said he felt like he had one up on him. And Al Heyman probably felt like Terrence Crawford had no other choice because he did not know about the BLK Prime thing. So Terrence Crawford did what you're supposed to do in any business move. If someone is trying to play with you in the contract side of the game, if you got a backup, you show them, you can't play with me. And that's what happened. You can say whatever you want to say. You can call him a duck, whatever it is. That's fine. All I know is when you're watching your favorite football player and the nigga decides, yo, I'm going to be careful how I'm playing. I'm not going to get injured because I want to make sure I get the max as a quarterback. I don't want to be a franchise player. Everyone applauds him. Basketball, when they sit out a couple games, when they demand their money, y'all applaud them. But when it comes to boxing, The first thing y'all say is a duck. And a lot of y'all who say it's a duck ain't never put a pair of mitts on in their life. You probably don't even know how to throw a jab. Got a stomach, don't work out, never got hit in the face, got a lot of shit to say, but never put yourself in a position. So it's easy for you to be that. But you probably shot a little basketball, probably threw a football. So you like, oh, I kind of understand. But boxing, you don't understand because you never put yourself in a position. Me, that shit is not easy. It is not easy. So I'm like, for y'all to make it seem like just get in the ring for a little bit of money, it's just showing that y'all don't know nothing but sitting on the couch and watching TV, watching these YouTubers. A lot of these YouTubers, look at the way these YouTubers is built. Heavy, overweight, criticizing, looking stupid. That's a fact. Like I'm going in, like I'm really feeling away right now. I don't care. Because a lot of y'all be criticizing and saying shit, and you ain't never been in it and never even thought about putting yourself in a position. So when you try to discredit someone who's willing to do something, but they saying, yo, we verbally agree to this, but the contract ain't right. So let me flex on you. That's what happens. If you was at work, you would do the same thing. So if that's the case, you can say it's a duck. You can say, oh, Terrence Crawford didn't take the fight. At the end of the day, if Errol Spence was prepared to fight Terrence Crawford in November and that fight fell out, why did the Keith Thurman fight not happen in November? Why is the Keith Thurman fight expected? I built my foundation, by the way. Now, why is the Keith Thurman fight supposedly supposed to happen in April? Not only is it supposed to happen in April, it's a catchweight bout above 147 and is not for any of Errol Spence's belts. Errol Spence fans, make it make sense. Connect the dots, please. Who is Spence supposed to fight? Everyone got a fight contract already. Thurman literally the only top 10 fighter available. J-Rock, you just answered your own question. It was Thurman. He was supposed to fight Thurman. By the way, Staniosis was also available during that time. Staniosis did not have a fight. He could have fought Staniosis as well. Double salute, my brother. Absolutely. I'm going to drop the link so y'all can talk your shit. But I'm like, I know none of y'all want to hear that because none of y'all care about contracts and stuff like that. Y'all just think this is YouTube backyard boxing and if somebody wants to fight, they should fight. Does somebody move around for 3 minutes, going back and forth, throwing no punches for 3 rounds? That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, y'all don't understand. Bro, I remember I was training no heat in the hood. You by yourself, bro. You doing an hour and a half by yourself. 4-hour training session. Y'all don't know. Like, y'all don't know what these boxers put their bodies through. And when they get to that point where they can make a certain type of money, you have to understand boxing is one of the most corrupt sports, period. So we're just now in a day and age in boxing where fighters actually have a say-so in how much money they want to make and being able to control their own future. That's just now happening. That was not happening 5, 6, 7 years ago. This is the first time this is starting to happen. And it's like, it's not my fault that Errol Spence is still in a position where he got, the only way something happens, daddy got to say yes. But you guys are still so, what I'm saying, brainwashed. It's like, oh, when a fighter has control of his own future, oh, he's ducking. What? That makes no sense to me. Bud thinking he's a businessman is why the fight won't happen. Heyman or Bob ain't trying to get in the ring. Bud needs to stay in his lane. Bring a person that knows the business. That doesn't even make any sense. That don't make any sense. Bro, J-Rock, Staniosis just got hurt. We're talking about November. In November, Staniosis was available. Staniosis was available in November. Keith Thurman was available in November. Both of those fights were readily available. Boots was available in November. The dude Boots fought was available in November. There was plenty of welterweights. That's what I'm trying to get across from y'all. If Earl was so ready to fight in November, why is it when Terrence Crawford supposedly ducked? Crawford still fought, but Spence didn't. Y'all getting on Ryan Garcia, or y'all have something to say about Ryan Garcia. Even I do. I'm like, okay, you're not taking the tuna fight in January. You're just getting ready for Tank. That's a red flag. Tank fought, and he's showing he's ready. He's going to be going. Why don't we keep the same energy for Errol? Make it make sense. But I'm gonna drop the link in a minute. I disagree with you. I know about contracts and I respect them, but most people don't. And a contract is only valid, and you have to respect the contract if there's a signature on it. If there's a verbal agreement and then you present the contract to someone and it says something different, you don't have to. Why would you move forward with that? If someone tells you, yo, you're going to be able to see everything you need to see when it comes to the books, and then all of a sudden they push the contract with you, and as J Rock said, oh, let the businessman be businessman. Don't you know Al Heyman's going to think, okay, maybe he's not going to have the type of representation that's going to be able to catch something that I put in there? Nah, he looked at it and he said, well, you're not showing me everything. Like we verbally agreed to something, but in the contract, that's not what it shows in the contracts. Do you guys not understand? Like when it comes to boxing, like now when it comes to anything, like if you sign a contract and you back out, you can be legally reprimanded. You can be sued, right? What happened with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder? Tyson Fury on the second fight, he signed a contract that promised Deontay Wilder a rematch. What ended up happening? Deontay Wilder sued Tyson Fury and they got the third fight. Why didn't nobody sue Terrence Crawford if he supposedly signed a contract? Since boxing's so corrupt, why Bud think he has a big business IQ to change it? He's a fighter, and that's all. He needs to surround himself with a team that can handle the business side of it. Do you have that same opinion on Gervonta Davis? Gervonta says he has no publicist. He has no one handling this stuff. He says it's all him and just his team. Terrence Crawford is the same way. Demetrius Andrade is the same way. Triple G is the same way. Canelo's the same way. Like, what are you talking about? This is nothing new. Right? This is the new wave is if you can get out of your contract with the promoter, a long-term contract, and now you can handle your business. You can make one fight deal with promoters and promotional companies. Like, what am I missing here? Spence was still trying to make the Crawford fight in November. He didn't know Bud was going to pull out the way he did. Spence had no backup. That's Spence's fault. Yeah, it is Spence's fault. That's not Crawford's fault. You should always have a backup in place. So you telling me Terrence Crawford isn't a good businessman, but he had a backup in place in case Al Heyman tried to play him on the contracts. But Spence had a team behind him, and they didn't have a backup in place just in case Terrence Crawford wasn't going to go through with the contract. Does that make sense? And if Spence was so ready to fight, why is he fighting in April? Don't you think he would be fighting sooner? Keith Thurman has been saying Keith Thurman has been saying he's been ready to fight. Keith Thurman's been training since September. He's been in the gym and he's been saying PBC hasn't been offering him no fights. It's not Keith Thurman that's asking for April. He's been wanting to fight. That's speculation. Let's talk about it. Nobody knows if Ryan is juicing. I'm not going off of speculation, allegedly, and rumors. That doesn't make any sense. I'm like, you telling me Ryan is not fighting, taking the fight because he's juicing? That's all I'm not going off of that. I'm going off of real. Gervonta still has PBC and people in the back making his moves. Nah, not according to Gervonta. Gervonta came out publicly himself and said it. He said he has no team. He has no publicist. The only people that's rocking with him is his coach, Calvin, and the people that he came up with. He's signing one fight deals with PBC and Showtime currently. He said he has no advisor, nothing. Now, if you want to call Gervonta Davis a liar, you can call him a liar. But guess what? I'm going to believe the actual fighter over us. That's what I go off of. I go off of what they say. I don't go off of what y'all think is for real. Unless you talk to him. Spence believed the fight was going to happen. He said he just wanted Crawford and nobody else. I don't care what he believed. He doesn't do the business like you just told me. He has promoters and he has a team who take care of that. So his team should have been prepared to have a backup fight. And regardless if he pulled out and he wasn't ready, okay, he don't fight in November. Why didn't he fight in January? Why didn't he fight in February? Why didn't he fight in March? Why is he fighting in April? Against Keith Thurman at a catchweight bout above 147 with none of his belts on the line. Make it make sense, Spence fans? Talk to me. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, how can you say somebody's not a businessman and he just negotiated a $8 million, $7 million payday with a streaming service that no one knows about that y'all was saying beforehand was never going to pay? Make it make sense. Let's talk about it because he's a boxer. Does he have anyone fighting under his banner? See, that's how I know you ain't really understanding the business side. It's not about having people under your banner. It's to be able to negotiate for yourself. We're not saying the same thing about Javante. We're not saying the same thing about Canelo. We're not saying the same thing about Demetrius Andrade. We're not saying the same thing about when Triple G did it. You understand? This is becoming very popular. Devin Haney, we ain't saying about Devin Haney. Devin Haney did it as well. I'm like, let's stay consistent. Man down even has Frank, who Crawford had. Not it. Earl Spence. Do you know who's over Earl Spence's promotional company? You know who the advisor to Earl Spence promotional company is? You know who is funded by? If Earl Spence is such a businessman, why is he still in contract while Al Heyman ain't doing what everyone else been doing? Yeah, all day. I'm dropping the link right now because we going crazy with it. It don't even feel like it's 35 minutes since it's been fired. Salute to everybody though that's up in here. Make sure I hit the like button too. Show some love. Hopefully I don't got the same problems as yesterday. I got the second phone ready though. So if I gotta do it, I gotta do it. But hopefully I can. I don't got no audio problems. I shouldn't though, I don't think so. Always respectfully, Dub. You already know what it is. Let's talk about a good deal is all about a state of mind, and that's what you negotiate for what makes you comfortable and happy and forget everybody else. And it's boxing. Why do we applaud like basketball players for negotiating the best deal possible? Why do we applaud football players for trying to get their money? I don't understand. Like we have a different energy for every sport, but then when it comes to boxing, where you can actually die, we can come out much worse than any other sport than maybe possibly football. And we're like, who cares about what money you get? Go in there and just fight. I'd never understand that perspective. All right, let's see if I can. Let's see if we got problems today.
What up, my brother?
What's good with it, Dub?
Man, Flu, what's
Damn,
going
still
on?
not showing me love.
Can you hear me?
I guess it's just my phone on this one.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing.
What's happening though, Dub? How you feeling? I'm finna switch over to my other phone so y'all can you can hear me. But go ahead. If you got anything you want to get off, go ahead get it off while I'm switching over.
Well, see, and this be the problem.
People
I
can hear
can't
me.
get off what I really want to get
And I'll
off.
probably just my bad. I'll just
want,
probably just ask you to recap once I go in with the other one. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to sit here and do no damn recap. I'm gonna wait for your ass to get your shit together, respectfully, of course, respectfully. But man, it's been a hell of a day. You know, still taking in. Oh shit! I fucked my mic up. Hold on. All right. So yeah, man, it's been a hell of a day, man. Still reflecting on the Georgia win. You know how I'm still in college football heaven right now. But man, this is an interesting topic. I just saw. I didn't even see it earlier. I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't even see that. The Keith. It seemed like the Keith Thurman fight is gonna happen with Errol Spence, and it seemed like they're gonna be fighting at 154.
I don't know if it's 154, but it's gonna be it's definitely gonna be above 147. It's not gonna be for no belts.
For what?
So
Why the hell are they fighting?
So
if it's not
can
going
we
to be
talk
for the
about
belts, why the fuck are they fighting? Excuse me.
so
Excuse my language. Excuse my language. But
we good. We passed the little 2-minute mark, so you can say whatever you want. So it ain't gonna hold nothing up.
Why the fuck would you? Why would you be fighting Keith Thurman right now if it's not going to be for the titles?
So this is why,
and I want.
And J Rock, you gotta check. If you want to come here, you should. And this is why I want to ask J Rock. You've been so critical on Bud. I'm trying to figure out. You're saying, oh, he only had Bud in his sights. When Bud pulled out, that's all he wanted to fight. Keith Thurman was available that entire time. And now all of a sudden this fight's being made all the way in April, and it's not going to be for any of Earl's belts, and it's going to be at a catchweight. Why? Keith Thurman has never fought above 147. Keith Thurman's always been a 147. Why is this? He's a PBC guy. I remember what I told y'all when we was talking about yesterday. I don't know if it was yesterday I was talking about it, but when I was talking about Keith Thurman, I was like, PBC has never been a fan of Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman has always been a guy who said what he wanted to say, and he never cared about the money because he was so frugal. He was a cheap dude. So he didn't. When he got his bags, he called his own shots. Even though he was under PBC, he fought when he wanted to because he was like, yo, I'm good. I'm not doing this for the money. Like I don't need a whole lot of money. I know how to resource my shit. I know how to invest. PBC never liked that. PBC wants people like a Earl Spence, a Ugas, a Danny, a Sean Porter, guys who are going to sit there, say the right things, and do as they say. Keith Thurman was never that dude. Keith Thurman was saying, I covered this earlier in the year. It was around August. Keith Thurman was like, yo, I'm ready to fight. I've been looking for a fight. Why have I not yet been given that fight? And they played him all the way. Now they're making him wait all the way until April to fight Errol Spence. Make it make sense. Please, somebody. It doesn't make any sense.
We're not here to explain. You know, I gotta ask you, Flu. I gotta ask you before we move. I gotta ask the question. It seems like you have, and I mean, you know, I understand people have smoke for any of these promoters, but it seems like you got a lot of smoke over there for the PBC, Al Heyman. What's your issue with what they got going on over there? Respectfully,
it's not I don't have an issue. It's just it bugs me when a lot of boxing fans, they just don't understand the business of it. It's like these same boxing fans, like I said earlier, to talk about basketball players. Oh, go get! I'm happy they got a big payday. I'm happy they did what they had to do to get it. Football the same way.
And then they playing for the Kings, and they playing for the Kings.
Exactly. But then when it comes to boxing, these dudes, you know how hard it is to get to the level they're at, and how corrupt it has been for so long for these guys to make their to be at the point where they can make money. Not only make money, but now you're seeing multiple boxers stepping away from promoters and saying, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'll do one fight deals with y'all, but y'all got to give me like 30% of the cut. You know what I'm saying? Type things. And we're shunning them, and we're trying to make it seem like that's bad business or it's not a good move. Y'all should just go sign with Al Heyman and be. It's like Al Heyman has the game manipulated so much, and this is why I have my beef with the UFC and Dana White. Where I'm like, okay, people don't really appreciate him in process because like we're so manipulated thinking that's a bad thing when it's all you have to do is just look at their payouts. AB is about to make a bag fighting for BLK Prime. And AB has made it known that Al Heyman was against booking him fights for over a year, and he would give him payments in increments because Al Heyman would say, I don't trust you with your money, so I'm gonna help you find a way to spit. Like I'm gonna give it in increments. I'm gonna give it weekly or whatever the fuck Adrian Broner said. He's like, no, give me my money in full. You can't tell me how to spend my money.
The problem, and I agree with you.
Grown man, if I want to go broke off,
hold on, brother.
Let me do it.
I understand that. I understand it. You know, and this is my thing. The first thing is when it comes to me, you know, I understand the business of boxing. Like I always tell you, I'm a selfish fight fan. I ain't really worried about the bags. I'm worried about the money. I said the money. I'm worried about the fade, bro. I want to see niggas fight, bro. I want to see niggas fight. But I will say this. Clearly, whatever Al was doing for AB was the right thing, and the reason I say that, let me say why I say that. Let me say why I say it. It was the right, and let me change it. Let me change it. It was the right thing in Al Heyman's mind, right? Because when the fight with Brandon Figueroa was supposed to happen, right? And AB, he got in the press conference. He going ham in the virtual. He going ham. These motherfuckers don't man. You know how AB is. I love AB. I love him. I will say though, at the same time, bro, you was supposed to fight Brandon Figueroa. You was complaining about the shit getting pushed back. Then when the fight was supposed to happen, you came out the week of the fight talking about, man, I got mental health. I can't fight. I can't fight right now. And I'm not saying he don't have it. I'm not saying whatever was going on. I'm not saying that. What I am saying though is damn, how many times, especially when I look at AB and I'm like, bro, right now AB looked like, and this was before that fight was fit to happen. I'm like, man, AB, he can't fight Brandon Figueroa right now. This nigga does not weigh 140, bro. He ain't gonna make 140. The man weighing 190 right now, easily.
You must have not seen his most recent interview. I did a live on it.
I'm not saying right now. I'm saying this was back in August, I believe, September, when he was supposed to fight Brandon Figueroa, and the shit got pushed out, and then Figueroa ended up fighting. Who the fuck Figueroa ended up fighting? Whoever.
I forgot, but he got retired. But I think was it Lipinets?
No, it wasn't. Was it Lipinets? It might have been Lipinets. It might have been Lipinets.
I think Lipinets retired
because they had him on like the back burner or some shit. Like, hey, if this fight don't happen, then you'll be able to slide in. But yeah. All I'm saying, I don't know, man. I don't even know how we got AB. Yeah. I don't even want to talk about AB. I ain't gonna hold
real quick, I love AB. This is my connection. This is what I'm saying real quick is we're all grown here, right? you can't say another man can tell you how you're supposed to be spending your money. If we agreed it, like you said, if we agree to something in the contract, you can't all of a sudden say now, well, AB, I don't know what's your mental like, so I'm not going to pay you all your money. We're going to give it to you in increments. It can say, oh, he was right because of Figueroa, but last I checked is right after the Figueroa fight, he announced the BLK Prime deal where he was getting paid. I forgot what it was over whatever amount of
I
fights.
think it's supposed to be 9 million for 3
Yeah,
fights. I
close to
believe.
10 mil for
Yeah,
three
yeah,
fights.
for 3 fights. Yeah.
So if you're telling me he don't know how to make money, I'm confused. And last I checked,
I never said that.
AB was
I never
making a
said that.
mil. So I'm like, you can't all of a sudden now say I'm going to. This is how I'm going to pay you. I'm gonna change how I pay you. I'm not gonna pay you in full. I'm gonna give you increments. I'm not gonna give you all your money.
I can
No,
say
no
that.
one should have the right to do that.
Guess why I can say that? This is, and you may be mad at what I'm about to say here, but guess why I can say that?
Oh my
Because
god.
because if AB was managing his shit the right way, then he wouldn't be on social media. Floyd, you my brother. I need this. I need this help for. He wouldn't have did that. He wouldn't have did all that
Bro, he
that
wasn't talking
nonsense.
about help financially. You also have to understand
He was talking about making a fight for him. He was talking about Floyd helping him get a fight.
bro, that's my point. Al Heyman, so Al Heyman is giving him limited money and not booking him for fights. Do you know Figueroa in between this time he had been trying to get a fight, and then he finally was like, okay, now you can get the Figueroa fight. Ever since his last fight with old dude Santiago, he's publicly said these guys PBC they're not allowing me to fight. I'm trying to be active. I need to
And
be active.
when it was time for the fight, he pulled out of it.
Because he got a bigger bag. The same reason why Terrence
Oh,
Crawford did.
see? All right. And if that's the case, then why would he
It
go
is
and
the
say
case.
is? Then why would he go and claim that it's mental health issues?
Because because see, in difference with Terrence Crawford, he signed a contract.
I ain't talking about Bud. I'm talking about
I'm making a comparison. The difference between Terrence
no,
Crawford didn't sign a
so you
contract.
saying he was lying about you saying that he was AB was lying about the mental health stuff.
All I know is that boy in shape and he about to be ready to fight against
So was he being
Red Cash.
but you didn't answer the question. Was he being honest about the mental health stuff?
No, I don't think he was. No, I think it was
Okay.
a way for him to get a loophole out of the contract so he wouldn't get sued.
I'm not mad at that. And I respect you for being honest about that. So it is what it is. I agree with you as
AB's
far as
smart. I'm like, y'all trying to make it seem like he's not a smart businessman. He was making bags way before bags were. He was getting paid over $1 million to fight on TV. To fight on
you know what?
TV.
No, I'm a A. See, this is the problem. I'm an AB fan. People and see, this is the thing. I'm fan of all these fighters, bro. But I can be critical of them and be a fan at the same time. But when you're critical, it seems like people don't think that you're a fan of them because you can be critical
No,
of these fighters. So
I,
it is what it is,
no,
though.
I just feel like people try to separate, like even J Rock, like real
Shout out to
quick.
J Rocks, man. Shout out to the brother. What's my brother name? In the, let's talk about it. Shout out to both of y'all brothers in the. I see y'all live in the chat tonight. Double salute.
So let's talk about when you can
And
get over
Fluke,
on
and
people in business.
real quick, Fluke. I stole double salute from you. I stole that from you. So anybody, if y'all don't know, I'm double saluting wherever I go from now on, off of Flu, bro. It's all off of my brother. It's all off of you.
No, yeah. Spread that mud. Right now, I'm passionate right now. So let's talk about. I just want to get
Let's
to the
do it.
because I
Let's
don't
do
want
it.
to get too like build up. We can get over on people in business, and Thurman is a little long in it too, so he feels he can be Spencer and make a comeback. Well, he's been
Who's
trying to
Spencer?
for a
Who
minute.
the hell is Spencer?
He missed Spence. You know, let's talk about be typing fast. So he feels he can be. Thurman been calling, but there's a lot when it comes to that. I don't want to get too far off that topic. And then J. Ross says Spence was in a car accident. That's why we don't know the extent of the injuries. More than likely, why? Real quick, and I can pull this up if I want to. Originally, when Spence was in that car accident, he originally said there was no injuries and he was fine to move forward.
Agreed.
After the announcement of the Terrence Crawford Avi Sign fight, and then also after allegedly Thurman versus Spence possibly happening in placement of that, that's all of a sudden when the statement came out that there was injuries. That can be proven. You can look that up. That timeline fits. So I'm not saying he's lying. I'm just saying certain things don't fit. J. Ross said, here we go talking about dude's bag. We always have to talk about bags because that doesn't make sense. Why is it in boxing we can't talk about the money, but we can talk about money in basketball, we can talk about money in football, we talk about money in soccer, but then when it comes to boxing, why we got to talk about the money? That's what I don't understand. I never understand it. That's because a lot of times the money substantiates why certain things are happening. You can't, as much as we
and
want to be boxing fans, we can't say that contracts don't matter. That's how they happen. We can't.
and it's
But
so interesting because I'm one of the people I don't like to talk the money, but I do agree with the point you just brought out. As far as hell, any other sport we talk the money, we ain't got no choice but to talk the
always
money. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Mahomes getting paid 500 million for 10 years. We talk about that. That's part
think
of
about
what we
Lamar. Think about Lamar. He's in his contract year, and we're like, "Yo, be careful. Don't get injured. You
right,
might end up losing
right.
your money.
So
You might
we
lose some
always
games. You may not get as far in the playoffs, but you know what I'm saying? If you're rooting for the play, because these players put their lives on the line. So for us to not acknowledge, okay, you're doing what's best for you and your family, I think it's very unfair in a sport where it's the most dangerous sport, in my opinion, of all the sports we talk about. That's just always kind of how I feel about it, and I just never understand why we try to just step by that. I'm not saying that's the main factor or the main key, because at the end of the day, there is dudes ducking dudes. There is fights on the table people are avoiding. There is. I'm not saying that's not the case.
absolutely, absolutely. And this is the thing though. The thing is as long as we just got to keep it a buck when we talk about it, um, at the end of the day, man, Bud, he gonna do what's regardless of the fighter because it ain't like EJ fighting for crumbs. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like Keith Thurman out
Neither
here
are
fighting
they.
for. Ain't nobody out here trying to fight for crumbs, bro. They not trying to do that, and they shouldn't be trying to do that. This is one of the most physical sports in the world, and
Dangerous
so
too.
exactly, and so I definitely agree that they should get their money. I'm not mad at that at all. I will say this. I I can be very critical of a fighter if I don't think, you know what I'm saying. If I, bro, I tell you like I always say, I think Bud ducked. That's my opinion, right? But at the same time, if the man he gonna get his money for his family, I understand that. I'm not mad at that piece of it. But I didn't want to see him fight David Avenesian. I want to see him fight EJ. Same way now with EJ fighting Keith Thurman. I know you were a fan of Keith Thurman, but I done told you from the beginning, bro. What I say? I ain't got no problem with Keith. I ain't got no problem with him. That's not what I'm trying to see. I want to see Bud and EJ. That's
And
just the selfish fight fan in me, right? So,
yeah, go ahead, my bad. No, I was gonna say y'all can call me crazy, but I actually think if EJ would have fought Keith Thurman earlier in the year, I would be seeing. Like I said, I'm not a Bud fan, and honestly, I didn't really want to make this a Bud Spence conversation. I wanted more Spence Thurman, but I'm more of a Thurman fan. So if Spence would have beat Thurman earlier in the year, and then he's like, "Yo, Crawford, where you at?" I would be singing praises to Spence. But this speaks volumes. You can't ignore the fact that why is he fighting Thurman for no belts, and why is it at a catch weight? And then we're supposedly supposed to believe that all of a sudden after that, Spence is going to turn around and now he's going to fight for all the belts against Terrence Crawford at welterweight.
and now I still, like I said, I seen this at 54. I hadn't heard nothing about a catch weight, but if it is at a catch weight,
That's
I
not
don't,
here. Look,
I don't
it might
respect
be at
catch. No,
154.
but this is the problem with all of it. I don't respect. I'm not a fan of catch weights. All that catch weight shit. I don't like it. I hate catch weights. We can't see that, brother. We can't see it. Just read it. Just read it to us, man. Just read it. We can't.
So
We
it's all boxing scene. Spence Thurman nearly finalized, conditionally approved to take place above the welterweight limit. Let me see if I can get if they got a weight. I don't think they have a weight yet finalized.
I seen a lot of 150. It doesn't matter. This is my whole thing. If you're gonna fight Keith Thurman, I had no
And,
problem. That's not the fight I want to see, but I ain't got no problem with that fight. But if you're not gonna fight him at 47, I don't want to see you fight at 47 no more.
and that's my problem with it.
That's my opinion. And even if it comes, if hell, even if when it comes down to Bud for undisputed, if you're not gonna sit there and be disciplined and fight Keith Thurman at 47, then fuck Bud at 47, fight Bud at whatever. I still want to see that fight now. I still want to see it.
And that's the thing. That's a good point too. It's almost like, okay, if you're willing to fight Thurman at a 154, or even if it's a catch weight, then that means there's no reason for Spence or Terrence Crawford to happen. Whether it's that Terrence Crawford moves up to 154 like he's alluding to, or if it's at
Right.
147, or shit. If y'all don't want to sacrifice your belts, do it. Tank and Ryan Garcia is supposed to do, and
No, I hate catch. I'm
I don't know
so
what's
not a
going on.
fan
To
of
be real
Catchweight,
with you.
bro. I hate Catchweight. I hate. Go ahead. Catch your comments. Catch your comments. My
I'm
bad.
like, I'm kind of in the, and I'm like, me personally, I'm kind of in the position where it's kind of like I'm kind of off both because the way this is looking to me is like, it kind of seems like y'all both kind of in a position where you're trying to like, it's kind of this is a weird analogy, but you talking to a chick, you know what I'm saying? You have your expectations. You're not really trying to be serious with her, but the chick trying to be serious with you, and then she kind of gets your vibe, and then it's like, you know what I'm saying? You don't text her back a couple hours, and before she texts you a lot. Now I don't want to text you back a couple hours. Like that's how I'm feeling like the type of shit. It's like, oh, you know what? All right, this is what we finna do. It's like that's what it seems like trying to one up each other type shit. And it's like just make the fight happen. Like
And
why was like okay, you went and did the Davey Avison move, got all that money. Well, watch, I'm gonna fight Keith Thurman for no belts at an upper weight class, and you say you want to go up to 154. Like look at this power move. That's how it's coming across to me.
and they talking about this is the pay-per-view fight. It's a pay-per-view
Yeah,
fight.
it's supposed to be pay-per-view
Hey,
with
if
nothing
that's
on the
the case,
line.
then defend your belts, bro. If you're gonna be fighting on pay-per-view against Keith Thurman, defend your belts at 47. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the
And
weird part.
if you don't do that, then I don't want to see you fight at 47 again, because if you do that and you defend your belts again, or you don't defend your belts against Keith Thurman and then try to go get undisputed, then I'm gonna say, you know what I'm saying, win, lose, or draw, however, whatever happens in that fight with Thurman, I'm gonna be sitting here talking about, man, this
Like,
nigga,
no one's
like,
gonna care because there's not gonna be
I don't
nothing
give
on the
a fuck,
line
fuck that fight, bro. Fuck the fight, man. I'm
unless he
not.
just like
We're not
knocks
doing
Keith
all that.
Thurman out cold. It's like there's nothing on the line. But real quick, J. Rock,
Well,
I don't know what. Let
he
me let
gonna
me
stop
let me
Keith
read
Thurman
this
to the
comment.
body. He gonna stop him to the body. But go ahead.
We'll see. But J. Rock said, I don't know what happened to the old beat the cash cow and become the cash cow. Bud extra careful. He knows he got a few years left and he's trying to squeeze every cent out of his fights. You know, Bud's a year older than Errol Spence, right, J. Rocks?
No, he's 2 years. He's either 2, maybe 3 years older. Maybe
No,
3.
Terrence Crawford is 34. He just turned 34. Errol Spence is 32 and he's going to be turning 33 this year. He's a year older.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna believe you on that. I'm gonna check though. You know, I'm gonna check.
Yeah, go ahead, check it. You can fact check me. Also about beating the cash cow. Errol Spence isn't the cash cow. Terrence Crawford's been making just as much. But Eric, bro, see, I hate this because my YouTube channel is like old low ball. Like Terrence Crawford was making more money, was making way more money before Errol Spence was getting the bag. Errol Spence is not the cash cow. He's the A side to you guys now because you guys know about him more. But when you're talking about money, Terrence Crawford has made over $1 million per fight since 2014. The first fight that he signed with Bob Arum, he was making $1 million per fight. Please, like y'all, like man, like that's what bugs me. It's like I don't be trying to be no type of way. Like I'm not a Terrence Crawford fanboy, but it's just like I know the facts because I've always been the guy that's always been like business minded. Like when it comes to all this type of shit, paperwork, negotiation, all that type of stuff. I'm like,
Yeah, nah,
all
for
that
you,
stuff sounds good, but
you missed the boat on this one. Right now, at this current moment in time, Errol Spence is 32. He'll be 33. March 3rd, he'll be
that's what I
33.
just said.
And Bud is
Terrence is
35,
34.
and he'll be 36. So yeah.
When is he 36? This year?
No. Yeah. September 28th, he'll be 36.
Okay, so there's a 2-year difference.
It's okay. I'll give you 2
There's a
years.
2-year difference. Yeah, let's talk about it. It's a
2,
2-year difference.
2 years. Yeah. We'll go to. We'll go to.
So I'm like, stop acting like Earl Spence is old. By the way, Keith Thurman is only, I think, 33 or something
33.
like that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's 30.
So I'm like, y'all trying to make it seem like Crawford is way older than Spence. All of them are coming out of their prime. Also, Earl Spence has more injuries. Am I wrong?
Age. Say it again. My bad. Man, I'm
Earl
looking at
Spence
age.
has more
My bad,
injuries.
but damn. Keith Thurman, he just turned 34. Shit, he right there with Bud. Hell.
Spence is about to turn 33.
Yeah,
33, 34, 35.
Yeah, I'm saying it's all right there.
And who has the most injuries? Well, it's kind of a tie between Keith Thurman and Earl Spence. Both of them niggas been crazy.
Hey, can I ask you one question, bro?
Wait,
Hold on.
what are you arguing? Losing money has nothing to do with how much Bud has been played. Nobody can play him like that again. What are you talking about, J Rocks? He just got paid $8 million.
Flu. I gotta ask you one question, bro.
Oh my god, my head is hurting.
What happened when Keith Thurman had that accident where he hit the tree or whatever he did? I don't know what happened. What happened in that situation with Thurman, bro? What happened? We ain't seen we ain't seen no police reports. We ain't seen the car. We ain't seen the tree. What the hell happened in that situation, bro? In your opinion?
Shit, like in my opinion, I don't know, but I just really don't think it's like a like it. I don't think it's a big deal just because he fought again.
So he was just lying. He was just out there lying.
I don't know about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, nobody don't know.
Not 2 years, bro. Spence turned 34 this year, or 33. I'm sorry.
Man, I gotta say, and I ain't gonna be on here too long tonight, man, because I'm still on the high right now. Shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs.
I'm only going 11:30. I'm not going late because I want to eat.
Oh, okay, good. You got 23 minutes. You got 23 minutes. Cool. I'm gonna rock with you then. I'm rocking with you for them 23.
I just be bugged out because like in my first I be bugged out because people. Because I'm like, I wanted to make this about Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, but it's just like I'm not a big Bud fan, but it's like this narrative where it seems like
you
Errol
can't. So look, listen, stop, Flu, stop. I gotta stop.
Crazy to me, bro.
You can't talk about Errol Spence without talking about Bud in these YouTube streets. You can't talk about Bud without talking about Errol Spence in these YouTube streets. Matter of fact, you might start talking about Javante Tank Davis in some type of way. These individuals can bring the conversation to Earl and Earl and Bud, EJ Bud. I will be talking about something that ain't got. We be talking about David Benavidez, right? And some type of way, this shit get back to EJ and Bud, bro. The people they are. I mean, they are. What's the word I want to hear? What's the word I'm looking for? They are infatuated with this fight, bro. They're infatuated with it. I'm one of them. And I'm one of them. I am, but I'm just tired of talking about this shit. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of both of them.
That's why I built this foundation though, because of like J. Ross saying lesson, like none of that. I built the foundation because I'm like, this is all entertainment. You got to have a bad guy. You got to have a good guy, right? Your good guy is Errol Spence. Your bad guy is Terrence Crawford. No matter what anybody says, the majority of people, I'm talking about the majority. I'm like, if you look in the boxing scene, majority of people are going to argue and say how Errol's this, Errol that, and Terrence been ducking, and Terrence this, and they're going to make claims where they have no type of knowledge about. Like that, and I understand that. I'm used to that at this point. It's just I be trying to move past, but it's hard for me too because it's like, how do you guys not know what public information is? All you guys got to do is kind of look into. But I understand you don't want to because it destroys the narrative, right? It's very interesting. People are not looking at this particular fight between Errol Spence and Keith Thurman with a side eye. But when Terrence Crawford and David Aviasson was announced and the fight happened, y'all talked all type of shit. But Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence at a catchweight for no belts. How does that make sense? Why is somebody who's been fighting at why is two fighters who will fight at 147 their entire career not fighting at 147 with no belts on the line?
And that's the difference because I'm consistent. I'm consistent in my criticisms. And so because I'm consistent, I agree with you in this situation. We agree 100%. Why the fuck are you fighting Keith Thurman on pay-per-view at a catchweight 154, whatever it is, for no titles? Why are you fighting for no titles on pay-per-view? No, I'm not. No.
That's why I have a problem with Spence fans because they say things like that. Whether this, no, not you. I'm talking about J-Rock. Whether this fight is
no. I just read that shit.
A better fight. That's why I have problems because it's like, see, that's why I can't talk boxing a lot of times, and I get frustrated because it's like y'all can make all the excuses in the world, but then when it comes to Terrence Crawford, it's like, well, he should be fighting Errol. I don't care. Like Terrence Crawford could have fought Tyson Fury. Y'all be like, why isn't he fighting Errol? But then when Errol does this, it's like, well, shit, it's still a better fight.
Wait a minute now, Flu. Now, and this is the problem. We got to be consistent about this. We got to be consistent. Would you not say that Keith Thurman is? I know you would say this. Keith Thurman is a much better fighter than David Avanesian is.
It doesn't matter though. You want to know why?
Matter. No, that does matter.
No, you want to know why it doesn't matter? I'm
It
gonna tell
doesn't
you.
matter to who. Hold on. Who doesn't it matter to first? Who?
It
And
shouldn't matter
then
to no
why?
one
Okay,
because none
why?
of the belt. They're not fighting at their weight class.
But
If
that's what
Terrence
I
Crawford,
already said that.
if Terrence Crawford lost to David Avionson, he would have lost his belt. If Errol Spence loses to Keith Thurman, nothing happens.
Is
So
that
this
what?
fight is irrelevant.
Hey, well, if the fight take place and Keith Thurman was willing to say, "I'll fight it," that's on Keith. That's on him, in my opinion. But at the same time,
What? How is it on Keith? Keith is the B side.
I
Keith
wouldn't
is
even. I wouldn't even have took the
no, no.
fight. Why would you take the fight if it's not for the belts?
You want to know why?
Tell me.
Because Keith has been saying since August PBC isn't giving him any fights.
It is what it is. And you
What do you
shouldn't be
mean it
over
is
there.
what it is? If he doesn't take this Errol
Man,
Spence
wait a
fight, what
minute.
fight does
See,
he get?
when I say it is what it is, what I'm saying is that damn it, Keith, man, you know it. You know what you're dealing with the PBC. You know what you're dealing with. The
But
same
I
way
think
the same way I brought to you. What I brought to you the other night. I said, God damn. When we were talking about the other fighters, bro, I was like, man, when the last time this nigga fight? You was like, well, hell, ain't none of them fight but once a year. That's what you told me, facts.
But whose fault is that?
I'm not Al Heyman.
Okay, that's my point.
But that's okay. We could be honest about that. But at the same time, you know who you're doing business with. Keith know who you're doing business with. So you get out here and do all this complaining and shit, nigga. I don't want to hear it. The same way
That's crazy, man.
I'm not trying
Man, I hope nobody gives you leniency when it comes to your job. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm like people would be so
really.
infatuated in entertainment and all that type of things, bro.
Oh man,
I'd
so
be like,
nobody don't give me leniency in my job because
no, I'm saying I hope no one gives you leniency. I hope you put in a position where they're like, take this or don't, and they put you in a position where you have to take a terrible deal or you got to walk and you
but
would be miserable.
but
I'm like,
wait,
I'm like
wait
this,
a
I'm
minute,
like this.
wait a minute, now, food. This is the problem. You can't have it both ways, bro. You can't have it both
That's
ways.
my
Listen,
point.
listen
So
to
you
me.
trying to
Listen, hold on, listen to me, brother. Let me get this off, and I want to hear what you're gonna say. You can't have it both ways. The reason I say you can't have it both ways because you was the individual telling me, right, that well hell, Keith, he frugal. You know what I'm saying? He got his money. He ain't got to fight if he don't want to. He ain't got to do none of that. He
of course.
can't. They can't put him in no position. So now he being put in a position, and like I just said, going off of what you put out there, if
Oh my
I'm Keith
God.
Thurman, if I'm Keith Thurman, and I'm not fighting this nigga for no belts. Hell no. That's the whole point of fighting Errol Spence is for the belts at 47.
Have
That's
you
the
ever
whole
done
point.
something you loved?
Have I ever
That's my
done something
question.
I love? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And if you've done something you loved, me personally, doing something I love, I haven't gotten to the point where I hit the pinnacle of something I love. I haven't done that. So I can only imagine you hit the pinnacle of doing something you love, like Keith Thurman, right? You put yourself in a position where you don't have to listen to anybody. Now you have setbacks. It's part of life.
Well, he didn't
Now
put
you
himself
know.
in that
Let me
position
finish.
because he's clearly listening to people. He's not in the position to make his own decisions.
So let me finish. That's what I was getting to. He was at
Okay.
the pinnacle at one point. He was the top 147er at one point. And then injuries, setbacks, where now he's not anymore. So
Okay.
now he's back and he's still doing something he's loved. He's getting older. He understands there's not too much years left for him to do something that he loves.
We're
So it's
not
not about
disagreeing.
him being backed in. What are you talking about?
I said we're
He
not
only has,
disagreeing. I'm saying I'm agreeing
okay.
with you.
I'm
I'm
like, he only
agreeing
has
with
so
you.
many years left. So now he's at the point where unfortunately he's under the PBC banner, and the PBC banner is saying, hey, yo, look, we not giving, according to him, we're not giving you no fights. This is the same thing that happened with Adrian. This is what's weird is like people don't want to, there's track records. Same thing with AB, saying the same thing with them. They're not giving me no fights. They're having me fight once a year. Like, why? Like, this is the, well, I want to fight more than once a year. I want to fight 3 times a year, and they're not giving me that. So Keith Thurman is now in a position where he understands where he's at in his career. He wants to, at least at the very most, utilize what's left in his prime. So it's not about frugality anymore. It's not about money for Keith Thurman. That's my point. There's no contradiction to that. He's not
No, no,
fighting for money anymore.
I never
Which
said
is why,
it was.
let me finish. Which is why he's not being backed in the corner taking this Errol Spence fight. And him, this is an opportunity because he understands you're not going to give me this fight on my terms because I'm not in that position. So I either take this fight and I enjoy what's left in my prime and I do the best I can, or I'm sitting on the shelf and I probably won't ever get a chance to fight again. That's
I'm
what it is.
I'm so confused. Can I tell you why?
I feel like it's making. Go ahead.
So Are we saying? Let's just make it short and clear. Are we saying that Keith Thurman has to take this fight if he wants to keep boxing, regardless of the money and the titles and all? We're saying that he has to take this fight regardless. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
So you didn't
That's
put
per
yourself.
Keith Thurman.
So he didn't put himself in a good situation then.
He can't. I just said that. I was like, he was at the point.
That's why I thought we said. That's why I said I agree with you. I thought we was agreeing. That's why I just wanted to make sure that we was agreeing. That's it.
There's a difference between financially well off and doing something you love. He can have all the money in the world, but just because you have all the money in the world, if you're in your prime and it's talking about sports and you guys still have the opportunity to do it, you're gonna want to do it. So he's not fighting for money anymore. He's fighting for legacy, which we always give credit to a lot of people. All of a sudden with Keith Thurman, people don't want, like, that's why he's taking this fight. If he beats Errol Spence, even if he doesn't get the belts, let's be real, he's not going to be in a position where he can fight for the belts. It's not going to happen. They're still going to try and make Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. Let's be honest. That's the unfortunate part. But at the end of the day, Keith Thurman, for his legacy, having Errol Spence as a W, he's building on his legacy, even without the belts, and he understands that. So it's like, I don't understand how people don't see that. Al Heyman is a cruel motherfucker, and he's shown it to be. And he kept Keith Thurman on the shelf all year after that Barrios fight and said, we ain't going to give you no fights. And I know he did it because, this is going back to J-Rock, you saying there wasn't nobody, Errol Spence said he didn't have a backup fighter. You can't talk about Terrence Crawford doing his own business and then say Errol Spence is saying he don't got a backup fight. Errol Spence don't do his own business. Al Heyman does. So Al Heyman had this in the chamber. He knew he could pull this Keith Thurman thing out. And not only that, he did it in such a way where it's like, there's nothing at stake here. So Keith, even if you win, it's a moral victory for you, boy. But when it comes to these fans, they ain't gonna care because the belts ain't gonna be going nowhere. Because that's how fickle boxing fans is. Trust me. If Keith Thurman beat Errol Spence, especially if it was off a close decision, no one's going to care. They're still going to say it was a catch weight, it was above the weight limit. We want Errol, we want Terrence. It's a win-win situation for Errol. The only way it's a bad situation if he get knocked out cold, and that's not going to happen at a heavyweight.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, Flu. Well. I got two questions. First things first, man. What's the spirit of choice tonight? Of course, spirit of choice.
Man, I just got me a little margarita.
Tequila. All right. So listen. Second question here. So what we're saying is that at the end of the day, Keith Thurman, for him to really build his legacy, he got to fight Errol Spence. He ain't got nobody else to build his legacy off of, is what you telling me.
I'm like, who? I'm like, the welterweight division is kind of in shambles. I'm like, nobody can really build their legacy unless they find Errol or Terrence. I'm like, who else could you fight?
Go fight Boots. Hey, we just seen Boots look pathetic. I ain't gonna say pathetic. We seen he wasn't able to cut the ring off. We did see that. Man, hey Keith, go fight Boots then.
Do you think Al Heyman is gonna offer Boots to Keith, bro?
Boots ain't signed with Al Heyman. Boots don't work with Al Heyman like that. Boots work with Showtime and Cameron Duncan. Respect.
So that's my point. Keith Thurman is with PBC. You think Al Heyman is going to want to sign that? Do you think Al Heyman wants to build Keith Thurman, bro?
Hell, you tell me. I don't know. I don't know what I have no clue what Al Heyman wants to do, to be quite honest. I have no clue. So I'm not going to try to.
Al Heyman has never been a fan of Keith Thurman. Al Heyman has never put Keith Thurman in a position to win. Al Heyman has always wanted.
That's your opinion.
I watched his career. The positions he put Keith in, that's what he's done.
Keith Thurman had an opportunity, to work to be undisputed. The problem was when he was on top at the time, the motherfucker. That's when what I asked you about earlier, what a motherfucking car accident, the tree, and all that shit that he was going through back then.
He got real injured. Like there's proof. Really, he got bad shoulder injury.
I'm not saying he wasn't hurt. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we ain't seen no evidence of it, and I'm not saying we need to. But at the same time, At the same time,
He
brother,
showed me proof of
it's
his
on,
shoulder injuries and
brother.
surgery. I don't care about the car
At the
accident. His
same
injury is
time, it's
legitimate.
on Keith Thurman. Y'all trying to put it on Al Heyman. And I will say Al Heyman can be the cause of a lot of situations. Keith Thurman is Keith Thurman's own problem. If Keith didn't take that damn layoff and would have been fighting, you know what I'm
He was
saying?
injured. What are you talking about, Dub? There's proof.
Bro, the nigga wasn't injured for 3 years, bro. He went 2 years, 2
Bro, do you
years.
want me to pull it up?
So he was
He
injured
had
for 2 years,
multiple.
bro. He was
Yes,
injured
he
for
had
2 years.
multiple. Yes, he had multiple shoulder surgeries. I can
All
pull it
right.
up right now if you want me to.
All right,
I'm a
y'all
Keith
got it
Thurman. I
then.
follow Keith Thurman extensively. If you
I
wasn't an
know you
extensive
do,
Keith Thurman
and
fan,
I trust
I'll
and
pull it up
believe
right
what
now,
you.
bro.
I trust and believe what you tell me. You ain't got to pull
I'm
it up.
gonna
I
pull
trust
it up.
you. I trust
This
you.
is crazy.
I'm telling you, I believe what you're saying. I'm just saying that at
I
the end
I,
of the day,
I never I never discredit any.
Keith Thurman is Keith Thurman's biggest issue. It is what it is. It's the same thing with AB. AB is AB's biggest issue. It's not
AB
Al
never got
Heyman.
injured. That's not the same
Oh,
thing. That's completely
and
two different
no,
things.
he just got fat and wasn't working out and man, come on, man. Let's be honest about this boxing shit, bro.
Yeah, I know you're not being honest, bro, because you're not.
Oh, don't do me like that. Don't do okay, Flu. All right. Let's talk about it, man. While Flu, he look it up, man. Let's talk about it. Man, get your balls off, bro. Salute to you, my brother. Salute to
Man,
you.
I'm just trying to figure out what are these pictures. Hold on, let me see what else we got.
Salute,
Nigga, you
salute.
said a shoulder injury and now you showing me an elbow.
Oh, that's off of Manny Pacquiao. Hold on.
Here we go. Here we go. Here come the cap. Let's talk about it, man. Get your balls off. Flu. Let the brother
What are
let's
you talking about?
respect.
The cap? These. What are you talking? These are sources.
Respectfully,
These are
respectfully.
official sources. I'm like, but
I,
last I checked, you work for boxing. You got a
I
website.
no, all I
Because
told
I'm
I
like, I
never
don't
said
remember Mike Coppinger ever lying.
I never said the brother wasn't hurt. What I said
That's what
was
I'm trying to
I ain't
figure out.
never seen no I didn't see no information on it showing that he
Thurman
was true.
suffered
I never
Thurman
seen it.
suffered the injury in a car accident last week while driving through a rainstorm according to Dan Raphael. If you know Dan Raphael, he never
And then
reports any bullshit.
fuck
Hold
that,
on,
fuck
let
that,
me
Raphael.
can I finish? Let me finish.
And hold on,
The March 12th
hold on,
fight
before
against
you
Porter
finish,
was
what did I
official. Let me
ask
finish.
you?
Let me finish. The March 12th fight
Here we
against
go.
Porter was officially postponed. The injury sheet was staying from the airbag deployment, given whiplash. He's going to take a few weeks without boxing activity. This is before the Porter fight. Last I checked, he fought Porter and he beat him. So
But
what are you
before
talking about, bro?
this all I'm saying. This all I'm saying.
Make it make sense,
Once
dog.
you make it make sense because
What surgery
once
did
again,
Keith Thurman have? The surgery was
go
a
ahead,
bone
brother. Go
fusion, so
ahead.
they fused some of my metacarpals. There's not an issue with my fingers or knuckles. It feels so much better now. Right after the surgery was quite painful. So yeah, surgery on his hand. Make it make sense. Keith Thurman undergoes elbow surgery, expected to miss at least 6 months. Somebody make it make sense. There's proof and legitimate articles that are saying all of his injuries, and you're trying to go off of your opinion.
Wait a minute. I just all I asked you, all I said
I'm gonna mute
was
myself now.
I said whose fault was and I'm gonna mute myself as well because let's talk about it. I want him to get it out, but we're gonna talk about this. We are gonna talk about this. Go ahead, let's talk. My apologies. Let's talk about it. My
I
apologies.
just don't like lies, bro. I'm like, that's
Bro,
why I'm like, you
you ain't
can't
never heard me
dispute.
get up here and lie, bro. You ain't never heard me get up here and lie.
You just try to say that Keith Thurman was never injured. I'm like, the car accident
No,
happened before the Porter fight.
I didn't say that. What I said was where's the info? Hey, did you and like I asked you, what did I ask you? I said, did you see the car accident? What tree did he hit? All of these, where's the police report? Those are the
Did
questions
he
I was
not fight
asking.
Porter?
Those are the questions. See, and then you want to change it. You don't want to talk about what I'm asking.
You want
You
me to
want
pull it
to
up?
change it.
I can pull up the police
But
reports and stuff for the car accident. You want me to do that?
please do. Go ahead. Let's talk about it. Go ahead, brother.
Because I don't
I'm,
understand how
I'm,
this
I'm
works.
just listening. I'm just enjoying. I'm gonna have an echo, so that's why I'm just quiet.
You good? Go ahead.
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm just making sure. Um, I'm just loving y'all debate. That's why I'm just sitting back listening. But I think y'all had some key points. But I think it makes sense why Spence is not. It's not the belt because big fight is Crawford and him. So I can go ahead and just fight him, win or lose, doesn't matter. And that's be a tune-up fight like Crawford had. So why not? It makes sense. I'm not fighting for anything. It's a tune-up fight. You know what I'm saying? And he's a better opponent than the person that Crawford fought. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing.
And those are all facts. Those are all facts. Go ahead, my brother. My apologies.
And I just think that they disrespecting Crawford because they say one thing, then putting the contract is another thing, but they're not respecting him as a promoter. You know what I'm saying? because they wouldn't treat another promoter like this. You know what I'm saying? So when you saying stuff like that, it's like, yo, what's going on? Like, why I can't be treated the same way? And it don't make sense. Let's make the fight happen. You know what I'm saying? No matter what.
And when you say them, you talking about the PBC, correct?
PBC, yes. Yeah,
Okay,
PBC. You got it.
Al Heyman, more or less Al Heyman. It ain't even damn. The PBC is Al
Al
Heyman.
Heyman is a slave driver, man.
It is what it is. But when Al Heyman put in your contract, goddamn it, you gotta say praise to me when you win the fight. Hey, it is what it is. Respectfully, go ahead.
No, I'm done. I'm pretty much done. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was making sure I had no echo, so I ain't want to interrupt y'all going back and forth.
You really don't have an echo, bro. To be honest with you, I don't hear an echo.
No,
I know. Good, I'm saying I was just making sure I didn't, so I didn't want to jump in and it was an echo. Like no, and it'd be an echo. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all was clowning me last time. You feel me?
I mean, we ain't ever. Come on, man. It's nothing but love.
It's all out of love. It's out of love. It's out of love. It's out of
Yo,
love.
I got thick skin. No, don't worry. I'm silly. I got thick skin. Don't worry about me.
Let me.
Y'all
can I say this real
joke
quick?
with me. Y'all can bid on me all day. It don't matter to me.
Real quick. Let's talk about. Hold on. Let me ask one question. One question.
Okay.
This is a quick question. Where you from, bro? Where you from?
I'm from Philly.
Philly. How you not know he Philly? Boots.
Bro, when I hear him, see, this is the problem. I asked that question because Philly, DC, that area up there sounds very similar to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm from the country. And so when I hear different accents, like I know a nigga from New York, you feel me? But then if I catch somebody from DC, Baltimore, Philly, it's a little crossover as far as the accent goes, in my opinion. Now, y'all can probably hear that shit differently. But
no, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. Because it's in our lingo. Like we'll say "boy" a lot. That drawn. That's what we say a lot.
Yeah, boy, jump. Yeah, and I'm sitting here like I know it. I know the area that it comes from, and it's interesting to me because it's so different from New York. But and I done been, you know, I done been to DC multiple times. So I got people in DC or whatever, and so. When you hear it, bro, it's like, okay, I know they from the DMV, but that area, when you say the DMV, that ain't no small little area. You feel like I understand it. Nigga, it's some shit going on there. So
yeah, that's Delaware. That's like Delaware, Virginia, and Washington. That's the DMV is.
And see, when I hear you, I would like you sound like an individual. You be like, yeah, you. I can't say the shit the right way. You know how niggas say you. In Baltimore, you feel me? I'm like, but then I don't know. It's small things. But man, go ahead. My apologies.
I'm good. I'm done.
Real quick, I wanted to say something to let's talk about it. Said about like I agree when it comes to Keith Thurman. It don't matter what it's for. It's a better opponent. I just want to say I don't want that to be the reason why we avoid criticizing Errol Spence. Al Heyman knows that. That's why he made this move. So it still allows us to continue the narrative where good guy Errol, bad guy Terrence. But we have to question the factors of if Keith Thurman is obviously the better opponent, neither of them ever fought above the weight class. Why is it this fight is not happening for the belts? We can't give him the credit of, he's just fighting a better opponent.
I just told you why. I
don't think that's fair.
I just told you why. They ain't fighting for the belts.
Why did I fight for the belt? I missed it.
Because the bigger fight is Crawford and Spence. So when that's the bigger fight, this is just a tune-up fight like Crawford had. I'm not going. You just said, well, I don't think
Ryan Garcia for his belt though.
I ain't fighting for no belt. The bigger fight, if I happen to lose, it looks sloppy or whatever the case may be, I still had the belts. And Crawford still gonna want to fight me anyway.
But you don't know that. Let's talk about it. That's my
rematch. Hold up, and the rematch would be even better with Thurman if I do lose.
No, it has to be for the belt. See, this is why I don't understand how we give all this credit for, he's chasing undisputed and all the belt, and then all of a sudden, the one fight that really matters, one fights that really matters, he's finally going to fight Keith Thurman. Now it's not for the belts, it's a catchweight. Now all of a sudden, the belts don't matter because we got to keep it in place so when he fights Terrence Crawford. I don't understand.
All right, let me ask you a question. As a consumer, not as a fight fan consumer, do you want to see EJ fight Thurman or you want to see him fight Crawford?
I would rather see EJ versus Terrence.
Correct. So if he happens to go fight Thurman and lose, he still has the belts, right? And you still gonna want to see Crawford and Bud fight. Crawford and EJ fight.
No, if he loses to Thurman, I don't want to see Errol Spence versus Terrence. That's the narrative they're trying to put on you as a consumer. They're trying to keep you in that mindset.
If he loses, if EJ loses to Keith Thurman, I need to see Keith Thurman versus Bud Crawford.
That should happen because it should be for the belt.
Or you gonna get a rematch.
Or either way, either there should be a rematch,
and a rematch that's where Vegas make money at.
I'm not just even with the rematch. Give me the rematch for the belts. Then, if you're gonna rematch it, first off, first off, if you a champion, if you a true champion, you know what I'm saying. And like I told Flu earlier, if EJ go fight at catchweight 54, whatever it is, nigga, you don't need to fight at 47 again. I don't want to see you at 47 again, unless and if you do fight it, you need to fight Keith Thurman at 47. You know what I'm saying, for the titles, and then beat his ass, and then go fight Bud. That's what need to happen. But all that catchweight shit, all that 154 shit, once you move up, in my opinion, I don't want to see you move back down because you should have fought Keith Thurman at that way. And I'm not a Keith Thurman fan. But you should fight that man. You should fight that man at the division that you at for your titles, all three of them. If he beat you, he beat you. If you lose, if you win, you win, and then you go fight Bud. But if you fight him at 54, hell no. I don't want to see, man. I ain't got respect for. I ain't got respect for that because now you're trying to pad the shit. You trying to pad your shit, and we not gonna do that. We're gonna keep it a buck, regard. And I'm one of the people. Flu will tell you, I think EJ beat Bud. I think he does. But at the same time, bro, don't go no bullshit, bro. Don't go pulling no bullshit like that and expect me as a fan of the sport of boxing, right, to accept and then check mark that shit. Hell no. If you're gonna fight Keith Thurman and you plan to fight Bud for undisputed, then you need to fight Keith Thurman at 47. It is what it is.
Go ahead, let's talk about it. Get off.
No, I would agree with you. If he's gonna fight, if he fights for no belt and he loses, he should fight him for the belt on a rematch. I agree 100%. But other than that, I just want to see Crawford and him fight. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think he's patenting anything. I think he's being smart and he's being controlled. See, there's a difference. When you being controlled, you don't have a say in anything. So it's not really Spencer. So when you talk about Spencer doing this, Spencer doing that, he's not doing this. He's not doing that. He's being controlled. Right. He's being controlled. Just like Mayweather saying, oh, no, Tank, you're going to fight this fighter. No, you're going to fight this fighter. Hand-picking fighter. So it's not him. When he breaks away from that, then you'll see the real boxer as you see Crawford break away. And I don't understand why more fighters don't do that and negotiate their own contracts, because you're going to get paid more money. You're paying other people. Now you got other people employed. And now it's more of a community. And now you can branch off once you retire.
I can tell you what, though. So, the reason go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to say real quick, like, if you want me to be real, if Keith Thurman moved up to 154 his last even one fight, I'm like, do what you got to do. My problem is we're talking about two welterweights that have been welterweights the entirety of their career.
Fighting at 54.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. I agree 100%.
So that's my only thing. Like, say if Errol Spence said, hey, I'm going to move up to fight, I don't know, Jermell Charlo versus Tim Tszyu winner in April. I ain't got number respect. I'm not going to. I don't care if the belt stayed on the line.
I don't know this, so I'm asking the question. I don't know the answer, so I'm asking the question. How much is Keith Thurman weighs walking around? How much do he weigh just walking around?
I honestly don't know, but I don't think it should matter because Keith Thurman's never.
Only I say that because now neither one don't have to worry about cutting weight, have to go through that trend. You know what I'm saying? Having cut weight and things like that.
Hold on. Wait a minute. And this
that's why they can fight at a catch weight.
Let's talk about this. This is the problem, though. This is the problem. I understand where you're coming from, especially when you were talking about Keith and EJ, either one of them. I understand when you're saying they ain't got to cut the weight. I understand that. My problem is
boys for 147.
But you damn right they are. But my problem is one of these individuals got 3 belts at 47. He got 3 belts. He got 3 belts in the division. And so if you got 3 belts in the division, either drop the belts and let these dogs fight for him.
The young boys,
or goddamn fight Keith Thurman at 47. When you
and Thurman,
I don't respect that. Hold on, real quick. I don't respect you talking about. Oh, I'm gonna fight Thurman at a catchweight, but then if Bud want to go for undisputed, I'm gonna fight him. Nah, hell no, nah, nigga, nah. We ain't doing that.
Even after that, I'm like, he has 3 belts at division. Before Errol, who was the champion? It was Keith Thurman. So it's like there's no history of either one of them having trouble making weight, other than neither of them ever missed weight.
Nobody ain't ever missed weight.
And neither of them ever fought at a weight class higher. So it's like, it just confuses me when, like, as much as people want to discredit Keith Thurman, this is, in my personal opinion, I think this is a big welterweight fight. I think this is, if it was at welterweight for the belts, this is, in my personal opinion, the closest thing that Errol could get to possibly fighting Manny Pacquiao, the closest thing he can get to Terrence Bud Crawford. I know a lot of people don't respect Keith Thurman that way. I do, because I remember at his young age, 27, 28 years old, he did things that Errol Spence didn't. So, and what I mean by that is getting the belt at such a young age. So this is a historical fight. Why isn't it happening at the weight class that they've been fighting at? It's like you're taking away all the benefits of fighting someone like Keith Thurman by saying, let's fight at a catchweight. So if someone loses, it's really not a big deal. Like, it's like, what? I don't understand that aspect other than what you're saying. Let's talk about, I agree. Hey, if it loses, there's still the possibility of Errol going back down to 147. But I'm like, isn't that what this boxing shit is all about? Like, if you're going to take a big fight like that, you want to put it all on the line. And right now,
I want to get that bag, because this is not a real big bag for me. Not to cut you off, this is not a big bag for me fighting Thurman. It's a nice bag, but it's not a big bag. You know what I'm saying? But me fighting Crawford, I know that's going to be a big bag. He just need a tune-up fight.
He's gonna make good money with Keith, bro.
I'm sorry, he gonna make a very decent bag.
Arguably a bigger draw than Crawford.
Than Bud is. That's a fact.
I can argue that.
That's a fact.
Keith Thurman is arguably a big, and is going to stay in-house, so the money's not going to be split up. So he's arguably going to get a bigger bag with Keith Thurman.
Go look when the PBC,
but being undisputed.
Real quick. Al Heyman did this on purpose. When he fought Mario Barrios, it was on pay-per-view. The reason was to test the market of Keith Thurman coming back off of what he came off of, and it wasn't a tremendous pay-per-view, but him and Errol numbers together,
like a C+ on it, and he was like, "Oh, he wasn't supposed to do that." Like, hold up, Keith Thurman's still kind of a draw.
Yeah, and so him and Errol, I think that Errol and Bud are gonna definitely bring bigger numbers, but Errol and Keith Thurman, they're gonna do numbers, bro. Like, you're gonna get paid.
I'm not saying they're not gonna do numbers. Yeah, I'm not saying they're not gonna do numbers. Yes, they're gonna do numbers because they want to see how Errol Spence look. That's first and foremost. He's the draw, and then Keith Thurman is bringing up everybody else. He bringing up the rear. That's just what it is. Javante Davis is the draw. He sells out every time he fights.
Facts.
See what I'm saying? So when him and Ryan Garcia fight, it's going to be sold out regardless if Ryan Garcia or whoever he takes.
They're not going to fight, bro. They're not going to fight. Ryan Garcia don't want that smoke. Respectfully to you. Ryan Garcia
don't want that smoke.
He don't want that tank smoke, bro. He don't want that tank smoke, bro.
So real quick, I don't know how legitimate this is. Some people say it's a little inflated, but what's out there? Javante Davis versus Mario Barrios did around 200K pay-per-view buys. Keith Thurman versus Mario Barrios did around 150.
I can believe that. I can
because there's a lot of Spanish boxing fans out here.
They're gonna support Mario Barrios.
Keith Thurman has a fan base. Stop, y'all. I'm like, Keith Thurman used to be the top of 147.
Listen, if you ever see a Mexican fight anybody, a black person, white person, it's mad Mexicans in there or Puerto Rican. It's mad. They support their own. We're the only people that don't support our own like that. Everybody else support their own.
Bro,
we the only ones kill each other. The other people don't. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear no Jewish people, no Chinese people, no Russian people talk about killing each other, pulling up on the type, none of that.
They do be killing each other. They just don't talk about it, though.
It come down to black people. You don't hear white folks talking about killing white folks, bro.
Yeah, they just don't talk. They do it. They don't talk about it. Like we dumb enough to rap about it and shit and talk about it. They do it. They just keep it in the rap.
Once again, they control too. My father was in the music industry for years. Trust me.
Yeah, I know they control too. Obviously, that's the narrative. I'm like, you ain't finna make it in the music industry if you ain't talking about your own. Like, I know that. So I'm like, obviously, you know what I'm saying, we manipulating that, but I'm just saying it happens in other races. It's just one, we put it out there, and then also shit.
Yeah, like 1%.
People they monetize them.
It's 1% in other races, 1 or 2%. It's not. It happens, but it doesn't happen at a frequent rate like us.
Yeah, we're and with us, our population. Yeah, we're the most violent.
It's 25% of the. It's 1% of them, and it's 25% of us. That's the problem, right there.
And that's what's the same. That's what's wrong with EJ. He's being controlled, and anybody that can be controlled or being controlled under a promoter and things of that nature, they don't have a problem with. And that's why Crawford is the villain, because he's taking his career in his own hands. And anytime you do that, they don't like that because they're not getting a piece of it.
Wait a minute. So when you say Crawford is the villain, right? He's the villain.
What I mean by that, he's not as well liked as Spence.
I love Bud.
I love training.
And I think I'm a little and shout out to the brother, my apologies, Flu, but shout out to the brother J Rock in the building, man. Shout out to him. Real quick, I'm gonna get off this point real quick off of what let's talk about, and then Flu, man, I'm gonna go to you. I know Flu, this your shit. I'll be trying to run shit. My apologies. Look,
yeah,
I'm chilling.
You do this.
I'm used to doing this shit, bro. This is what I'm used to doing. So this is what I'm doing. So, anyways, this is the thing, though. The thing is, I agree with you. The thing is though, at the end of the day, bro, Bud in this situation, Bud was controlled at one time too. And
right, but he got out of that.
Hold on. Let me. I'm coming to you.
Go ahead, boy.
And the thing is when Bud resigned, yes, we were very critical of him. But when he got out of that shit, man, I was proud of him. You feel me? I'm proud of Bud right now. I think Bud doing a hell of a job. You know what I'm saying? As far as being independent, working to negotiate his own shit. I have been very critical of him as far as the business moves go, never as a fighter, because we know what Bud is in the ring. We know what he is. But as far as business moves go, I have been critical. And now I got to step back and say, okay, he doing the right motherfucking thing. And so even when it comes to him fighting David Avanesian, I told Flu from the beginning, hell no, I ain't want to see that fight. And I didn't agree with it. And I did feel like he pulled out of negotiations. But when I look at it from 2 steps back, I say, well, shit, he ain't pull out for no motherfucking reason. He ain't just pull out. You feel me? And so even though I'm gonna be critical of him, I'm gonna call him a duck. Yes, sir, I am, because I'm a very selfish fight fan. Very selfish when it comes to the sport of boxing. The money don't really mean too much to me because I ain't getting paid a lick of it. I want to see niggas fight. That's what I want to see. And coming from that perspective, I'm gonna sit here and say, yeah. But man, ain't no way you're supposed to pull out of that motherfucking fight. But when you take a step back and be reasonable about it, I can understand him going to get the bag and him not having to deal with such hectic negotiations in that situation. I can understand it. Do I agree with it? No, but I understand it. Go ahead.
I want to let J Rock get some shit off with, because I don't want. I told y'all, motherfucker, I don't want to be on too late. I'm gonna make it 12 to cap. So J Rock, get off. What you want to talk about?
Shout out to the great brother J Rock. J Rock, you on mute, brother.
Yo, my bad. Yeah, no, I don't know, man. The same thing. Like, it just seems like every time we have this conversation about Bud and the fight, it's always like, well, how much is Bud gonna get paid? Like, since when the fuck do we care so much about that? That's my thing. Like, I've actually talked to Bud fans, and I'm like, what would you prefer? You know, the fight to get made, or for Bud to get a big paycheck? Well, I want Bud to get paid. Why the fuck do you care? Like, that's my thing. Like, I've talked to Bud fans, and they really want this guy to get paid. Like over watching the fight. You know, and that's my thing. Like, since when did we get so involved in these guys' paychecks? Who cares? I'd rather see the fight. But Bud,
Facts.
and this is my opinion too. Like Bud, I really don't think he believed in his abilities. I think he saw the Eagles fight, and he was probably like, God damn, like that's gonna happen to me. And he did not bet on himself. He wants to squeeze every cent out of every fucking fight, and he only has a few fights left. That's my opinion. And Bud's not someone that fights 3 times a year, so he's not getting that many paychecks. Coming in yearly. He fights once a year, once every 18 months. He's not fighting consistently, so he wants to squeeze everything he can from these negotiations, and that's facts.
And going off the brother point real quick, if you go listen to Bomac, hey, Bomac, he put it out there as far as Bud and Ugas. You know what I'm saying? We've heard multiple stories about what happened in the amateurs. I don't think the amateurs mean shit. I don't think the amateurs mean a goddamn thing, because if Bud fought Ugas right now, I'm picking Bud and I'm putting money on him. But at the
I'm
same
sorry,
time,
man. I'm sorry. I gotta say this. I don't care, man. I like it shows, man. Y'all is fans of boxers, bro. Y'all do not pay attention to the sport. It's actually hysterical to me, man. I'm not even trying to be no type of way, but y'all is really showing y'all color. It's
Yeah.
like, cause I'm not even a Bud like I'm not even a Bud fan. Bud is not close to being one of my favorite boxers. But like J Rock, I understand where you coming from, but I'm like, for you to say, oh, you don't care. I just want to see the fight. I don't care who gets paid. That's not how sports work, bro.
All
This
right,
is
That's
Flu,
not
but
sports,
how
be honest.
bro.
life
All right,
works.
all right, Flu, but be honest. If they
Life
fought,
don't work like that.
and just be honest, so if they both fought, you're gonna tell me that Bud would not get paid more than 10 million off of the fight. You really believe that?
I don't know that. I can't answer that question for you. I don't know what they have in contract, because at the end of the day, let's be 100% with you. Us as hardcore boxing fans, we want to see Bud versus Terrence Crawford. But Terrence Crawford versus Bud, they has no
hold
weight
on,
when it
wait,
comes
wait,
to
wait, wait a minute,
casual. I gotta
wait
finish,
a minute,
Eric.
wait
Let
a
me
minute.
finish my point.
No,
Let me
no,
finish
you
my
said
point, y'all.
Bud versus Terrence Crawford, and Bud and Terrence Crawford are the same person, respectfully.
Bro, you know what I meant. Come on now. So I'm like, come on, let me finish my point. Bud versus Earl Spence. We know that it is not a popular fight outside of hardcore fighters. A million promoters have said that. We don't know what the pay-per-view numbers are going to be to that. So the reason why there's a possibility that he may not make 10 million is because there's not going to be enough casual fans that are going to come and buy the sport. This sport is ran off of casual fans. How do I know that? Is because we have YouTube boxing that is getting more pay-per-view buys than something like, I don't know, Earl Spence versus Ugas, and Gervonta Davis versus Mario Barrio. These dudes is getting more pay-per-view buys off the thing. Boxing is ran by casual fans. Yes, as hardcore fans, we wanted this fight. But the problem, no one has actually made the fight, and this has been told by Bob Earl, by Eddie Hearn. Obviously, Al Haymon doesn't speak, but from these promoters, they said, if you're willing to put down the money that these guys think they're owed, most likely you're going to have to be okay with possibly losing money, because we don't know what we'll get back with it. We think it's a big fight because we love boxing, but boxing is a cliche sport. How many people outside of it is gonna actually be interested in this particular fight, especially now since these guys are older? They really aren't fighting anybody that's going to build them up for more individuals that are casual fans to watch the fight. Keith Thurman versus Earl Spence is a great fight, but that's still a hardcore fan base that's going to pay attention to it. It's not going to bring in any new fighters. There's going to be
But
any new viewers outside of hardcore fans.
but this
So
is
And
I'm
the
I
like,
and,
thing.
and that's
this
and,
isn't a
and that's where
big
I kind of
fight.
disagree with you, because
It's not a
if
big fight.
this is yeah this is I don't think this is just for the casuals, and if it was just because of the magnitude of this fight, PBC is going to promote the hell out of it. You're not going to see weigh-ins
It
at a
doesn't
fucking
matter.
hotel at the Armada Inn like BOK did for Terrence's fight. It's
But
going to
they
be
paid him his money. You have to understand.
Hey,
I'm
J-Rock,
trying
what
to
you
teach
said? They
y'all
was at the
business,
Ramada
bro.
Inn, bro. They was at the Ramada
they
Inn
were they were at the
This
Ramada
is
Inn
how I know.
weighing in, and
with
it
the
was
This
wrinkle
is
just
how I
with
know
the
none of
wrinkle
y'all know
background, with the
business.
wrinkle
This is sad,
background.
bro.
yeah.
This is
Yeah, so
sad. Y'all
PBC is
don't know
going to carry this
business. Y'all
card. They're
must
gonna they're gonna
y'all
they're gonna
must not.
promote the
Y'all must
fight.
be
It
have
is
a
gonna
job that
they
got
are
nothing
gonna
to do
make the
with
money back. They're
business.
not gonna lose on this fight.
What are you
This
talking
fight
about,
transcends the
J-Rock? They
casuals.
still are.
This fight is not just for the casuals. This transcends the casuals. I
So
got
so
people
so
that don't even
listen,
watch
real
boxing
quick.
that know who
What are
Crawford
you
and they
Where they
are.
going?
Yeah, there is not gonna
Oh,
be any
What
new
they
fans in
doing?
this fight. There's not gonna be no new
Oh
fans
my
in this fight.
God. Y'all really
There's
don't know
nobody else.
business.
It's
Y'all
not gonna be a
studying me,
new.
bro.
It's not gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna watch boxing for the first time. I'm gonna go buy
Exactly.
a $7
What
pay per
y'all
view."
talking
That's not
about?
gonna happen. It's
That's
not
not
gonna
going to
happen.
happen. But what's going to happen though
So
is
that's what he's
that the
talking
diehard
about.
boxing fans are actually going to pay for this fight. They're not going to stream this fight. They're going to
Boxing
pay,
fans
and people are
always
going to sit
pay
around and
for
watch
fights.
it.
You
Let me say
crazy? I'm
That's what it's going to
I'm
be.
streaming it off my Fire Stick.
hold up,
No, I'm not
y'all.
streaming. I'm buying this fight.
Let me
I,
like y'all
I
y'all mute each other. J Rocks like mute because I'm like you don't
go ahead.
understand. Hardcore boxing fans do not run the actual numbers. That is not how these guys become superstars. It's not how they become a mega star. It's not how they get pay-per-view numbers in the sense of a Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Look at Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder was looked at. I remember when that first fight happened, Tyson Fury was saying barely anybody in America knows him. They know more about me. Tyson Fury, he was banned from UK and fighting in the UK. They became stars after the fact. The casuals came in after the fact. And a lot of times you got to remember heavyweight is the most popular sport. And even during that time, that wasn't a big fight. But you have to understand you can take a chance on heavyweights because heavyweights has the possibility of fireworks to happen. And now they're superstars, not because of hardcore fans. Hardcore fans, when it comes to boxing, your regular fan base is not what makes you money. You have to get fan base out of it. Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence has been speculated for 4 to 5 years, and there is no casuals that are saying, I want to see that fight happen. Niggas want to see KSI fight more than that.
I disagree with that to some degree, Flu. Only reason
It's
I say
shown,
that,
bro.
hold on. Only, and this is just from personal experience. I got a lot of individuals that they don't know shit about boxing, bro.
You can't go off of what you know. You can't go off of the people that's around you. You have to go off of
what the
it.
fuck does someone go off of, bro? If I can't go off of what I know and the people that I talk to, what you want
It's
me to go off of?
2023. Just go on the internet.
I'm not.
The only
You
niggas
know,
who care about
bro,
this fight is
we
niggas who
talked
like
about this.
boxing.
We talked about this already, Flu. I ain't the social media guy, so I got to go off the people around me
And I'm
and
telling
the
you,
vibe
that
I'm
is
getting
a
from them.
narrative that doesn't work. If you're in a
Okay.
box, if you're in a
It's not a
business,
narrative. It's not a narrative, though. It's just me going off of what the people are saying that I'm talking
and
to.
that's fine, and that's
It's not a
fine. But
narrative.
if you're going off a business and you're trying to make the most numbers, you're not going off of someone who says, "Well, the people around me says this works." I don't care what the people around you says. I'm going off the majority. If I have an opportunity to tap into people that you do not know, and the people that you do not know and I do not know are telling me this, that's what I'm going to base it off of. And
And
that's
taking
very
that
easy.
and taking
That's
that same
very
thought
easy for
process.
us to access when it comes to this fight. Over the last 4 to 5 years, I'm not going to take opinion of myself, of a dub. Let's talk about it, J Rocks. I'm going to go off of what the promoters are saying. And what the promoters have been saying, the reason why this fight hasn't happened, because no one's willing to put the money down because they're going to lose money. You want to talk all you
Wait a
want about,
minute.
let me
Wait a
finish, let me
minute.
finish. I haven't been able to finish this. Let me finish my sentence. Y'all can talk all y'all want when it comes to BOK Prime. Guess what? It was in the Armada. It was in the Mariota Hotel. It was in the Motel 8 when they did they weigh-ins. But guess who got paid? Guess who made the fight happen? Guess who was willing to take the loss? They were, and they did. Supposedly, from their numbers, they said they didn't. But if they took a loss, they paid the man. That's something that Al Heyman and PBC hasn't been willing to do. Bob Arum and Top Rank wasn't willing to do. So, what is your guys' argument? If the fight is that big as you guys try to say it is, why hasn't it been made? When there's been multiple people as promoters, Bob Arum himself, Eddie Hearn himself, even Al Heyman himself, have made it and presented to say, we're not willing to take this risk unless you're willing to sign for significantly less to make sure we don't lose any money. Answer that.
My bad. Well, ask the question one more time. My bad. My bad.
I bet. Yeah, I bet. I bet.
I started
Yo.
watching the top 10, bro. I started watching the top. My
I
apologies.
bet. I bet. I'm not gonna repeat it. I'm
Hold on,
just
hold on.
saying, y'all
Okay,
can't
okay.
No,
answer
no,
that.
I was at
That's
7-Eleven. I was
my
getting
I
a
know
beer.
you said.
Hey,
Go
Flu,
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
agree with you, so I don't have to answer. I agree with you 100%. They think about the aesthetics of everything. I'm thinking about the money and how many people will hold and let's get it on. You know, we got the Blue Horizon. They ain't nothing to be proud of. But
So the
a lot of
It's
fights
such a
gonna
big
happen.
fight.
I don't know what your question was, but I think Spence, like I think the way PBC has
Of
built
course you
Spence
do.
up, like you guys underestimate like how much of a following this guy has. Like the fight alone in Texas was a big fight. Look how much he sold. I know it was Mikey Garcia, and I know he carried
That
a
wasn't his
lot of those
last
fans,
fight.
but that also brought a lot of fans to him too, though. And
Mikey,
Crawford hasn't been in a fight like that where he's had a fighter that's gonna put him out there like that. So that's the reason why I think that the fight will sell. And I mean, if we can't go off of people that are around us, then who can we go off of? I know a lot of people that, and I work in sales, I work in finance, and a lot of people don't even watch boxing, and they know about them two fighters. So I that's what I believe. I believe if the fight does get made, they will get more money, than.
Spence versus Danny Garcia, his last pay-per-view fight did 250K.
No, I was gonna. I agree with J Rock. I know a lot of
Why'd
individuals
y'all
who.
just ignore what I just said? Spence versus Danny Garcia did
Yeah, Danny
250.
Garcia is not. He's
Okay,
not
cool.
a big name as Crawford though.
But
This
this
is
is
a
the
mega
thing.
fight. This is a big
So,
fight though.
so, so, what do you think they'll do as pay-per-view buys? What do you think the number they'll get?
Probably around 800,000.
When's the last time you seen a
800,000.
when's the last time you seen a boxing fight get 800K?
It's not going to get 800K because
Canelo
right now I can tell
Alvarez.
you right now, two people
Canelo
streaming it
is the
from here.
last person to get 800,000 was Canelo.
You
Respectfully.
crazy? Exactly.
Canelo
Right,
did.
but
Canelo's getting big
Canelo
yeah,
money.
did.
but they're gonna.
Canelo
Here's the
did
thing.
get 800,000. He did do
Y'all
800K.
crazy, man. Y'all got to be realistic, y'all.
I'm
Y'all got to
crazy
look at
for
the
saying.
numbers,
Hold on, wait
man.
a minute. Flu, are you talking to me?
Realistically, I think it's going to be do like 450,000.
You
Hold
better
on, wait a
hope
minute.
it does 450.
Wait,
And
wait
even
a
if
I,
it
minute. Wait
does,
a
if,
minute.
if,
that's
Wait.
if
not
it
Hold
gonna
on, hold
Garcia
get
on,
do
you
hold
close
on,
to
hold
450,
10
on, hold
million.
on.
I
Wait
would
a
say
minute. Wait a
4
minute.
between 4 and
Flu,
450.
hold on. My brother, the great brother, Flu, he asked, he said the last fight to do 800K. I said Canelo. Do you disagree with that? Are we that's a fact, right?
You're proving my point. Canelo's the biggest boxing star on the planet right now.
Okay. So we are agreed. Okay,
And
Errol
he's
we are
Spence
agreed.
is
better.
nowhere near Canelo. If it's
He's,
so, if
and
he
he's
was,
better.
then why did he do 250 versus Danny Garcia? He did
Well,
50 more than
360. It
Gervonta
was actually
Davis.
360. 360.
bro,
No,
fuck
bro, I
them
have it
numbers,
pulled up
bro.
right here,
Fuck
bro.
all them
It's
numbers, man.
360,
Fuck all
bro.
that.
Against Danny Garcia, 360.
Bro, I
Spence
have it
Garcia
pulled up.
tops 360.
I have it pulled up right here.
It grows 27 million domestically,
I
360.
have it. I have it right here.
I
This
have
is
it
the
200.
right here
problem.
too. ESPN numbers. I have it right here too.
And hold on. For both of y'all, the problem is that according to who you looking at, the site that you're looking at, the numbers may be different, and this is what the people are reporting. And so we can't get into back and forth as far as what the fight did. We have to do, and what I like always say, we put it in a range, right? You put it in a range.
It was not 360.
Go ahead.
This
Go ahead.
fight, but you got to keep in mind, this is a true 50-50 fight, though. This is a true. I think you're underestimating the potential this fight has. Both Crawford and
Have y'all
Spence were
ever
trained
invested
for.
in anything? Have y'all ever invested in anything, or you guys know how investments go?
Yep, I did.
This is
I had
So when
different.
you
investment
This
on the
isn't.
stock
This
market.
isn't.
when you talk about investments, you don't go about there's a possibility. You want to be on. You want to be for sure when you put a certain amount of money into it, because if you're not for sure, you lose money. When you're talking about two big names like Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, if they're both asking for big paydays, Errol Spence, you can have a set payday for him, but Terrence Crawford wants a
Crawford's
percentage.
asking for a big payday, not Spence, because Spence agreed to terms. Crawford he wants a guarantee.
So
But go
Spence is
ahead.
not going to get a big payday. Is that what you're telling me?
No, what I'm saying is he agreed. He wasn't going to get a guarantee, so he agreed to those terms. Crawford's the ones that want a guarantee.
Hey, J Rock, can I ask a quick
So you
No,
question?
saying Spence isn't getting a guaranteed?
He wasn't going to get a
Man,
guarantee.
it doesn't matter. Hold on, wait a minute. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, with Bud fighting over with
It's frustrating.
the PBC over
12
there, we
o'clock.
know
So I can't have this
with
conversation.
Bud fighting over there, we know that EJ is gonna get the big. He's gonna get the bigger money in this
Yeah,
situation.
exactly. I'm like,
Strictly
Spence
off
is
of.
the A side. He's gonna get more money than
But this
Terrence.
hold on.
But no guarantee though.
But man, I just wanted to ask a question. I just want to ask this question. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not agreeing. Right. I'm trying to be I'm just trying to look at it from the outside. Right. So J Rock and J Rock, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like and you rock with you rock with EJ. You feel me? You rock with EJ. Correct?
Yeah.
No problem with that. No problem with that. I think EJ beat Bud. Respectfully. I think he beat him. I think it's a good fight, but I got EJ winning that fight as well. But I'm a fan of both of these fighters. I'm a big fan of both of them, right? The question is this for you: how if or in this situation where we're currently at right now, right? The money aspect of it, because like me and Flu said multiple times, or Flu, hey, we got to talk the money. We got to talk the money, even though I don't want to talk the money, but we got to. So
that's the only reason why the fight's not happening. So it's like you can't avoid that. That's the only reason.
Hold on, and that's what I wanted to ask the brother. And what you just said is exactly where I'm going with it with J-Rock. J-Rock, in your opinion, because like Flu just said, well, hell, the fight ain't happening because of the money. In your opinion, right? And we don't know the numbers. We can't say for factually. We can only give opinions in this situation. A fight with Errol Spence would do bigger numbers and have more financial gain for Bud Crawford than a David Avanesian fight. Would you agree with that, J-Rock?
100%.
Would you hold on? And second question: would you agree that a fight with Bud Crawford and Errol Spence would have more financial gain for Errol Spence than a fighting at 54 or who knows against somebody like Keith Thurman?
You know, it's speculative. How do you know any of this?
No. Wait a minute, brother. Wait a minute, brother. We're not disrespecting Keith Thurman. We're not disrespecting him.
I said no. I said it's speculative. I'm like, how do you know any of this? You're just asking something that would actually favor to his opinion. I'm like, how do you know any of this?
No. I'm asking his opinion.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think Keith Thurman. No,
I just hate. I'm not even gonna cap because I'm not even gonna cap. I'm like,
you just said
I don't care. Like I'm at that point. I'm not even gonna cap. I'm like, those questions are look, bro. I'm like, I understand how things in narrative work. Like ain't no one finna out talk me. I'm gonna be just 110% with you. I'm gonna be hold up. I'm gonna be 110% with you. Those questions is crazy because the questions are irrelevant because you don't got the numbers. And one thing that Dub and J-Rock is refused to acknowledge is the numbers. So now all of a sudden we're gonna listen to y'all opinion on the numbers.
When have I? Hold on, wait a minute.
That's been your whole narrative. You're
not gonna cast aspersions upon me.
With you. I'm like J-Rock has made comments. Why are we talking about the bag?
But you know one thing that's crazy.
Hold on, J-Rock. Hold on,
I hate y'all with that joint. Dub, you ain't gonna control the conversation, bro. I'm like, Dub, you've always said I'm a selfish fan. I don't care about the bag. I don't care about the money. J-Rock, you said you have comments saying, oh, why are we talking about someone's bag? Now all of a sudden you're trying to substantiate your argument with talking about the money. I don't care what y'all think because you made it clear you guys don't pay attention to it.
But you know one thing that's crazy though, because aside from
what we're talking about is the best fighting the best. What we're talking about is the best fighting the best.
So then, if you're not with the numbers, don't try to substantiate your argument with the numbers, because obviously you guys don't pay attention to the numbers.
But here's the thing:
if you're gonna be the one, you're the one bringing the numbers up, and so now I have to take your narrative. I have to take your narrative and flip it on the head.
You have to understand when it comes to argument,
we're doing it now, and that's why you're cutting us off.
I'm trying to give y'all some game right now. No, I'm trying to give y'all some game.
You're cutting
when
us
you
off
having an argument with someone.
You're cutting us off because you don't want to hear us flip your narrative on the head, bro. You don't want to.
No, I don't want to hear you guys' narrative because you've already made it clear that you guys don't pay attention or respect or care about the numbers. So it's like you can't use that as an argument if you don't pay attention to it.
We never said that. What I
got comments in here. You want me to pull it up?
Yeah, you do.
Listen, Flu. Wait a minute. What we said, especially I can't say we. What I said is that I don't focus on the numbers. I want to see fights. I'm a selfish fight fan.
Exactly.
Then, hold on.
You want to use it as your argument.
But then when you start to bring the numbers in, I have to
you've been talking about the
it's not about
those
since I
numbers.
Following the channel, you've been talking about Crawford's numbers and you've been talking about the business side of it and all these things. That's all you talk about.
Hold on, J-Rock.
I know y'all can't like that's how I know y'all can't like that's what makes it. It's like you can't change your narrative to fit mine. If I've been from the beginning saying that my foundation.
See, this is the problem.
You're not listening, bro.
Y'all are the one who push you're the one pushing the narrative. And I'm
not pushing the narrative. I'm staying solid with what I've been saying. I haven't changed anything I've said. Y'all trying to change what y'all said.
What have I changed? Tell me what I've changed, Flu.
Because you're trying to acknowledge the numbers now when you guys don't have any actual information or knowledge about the numbers. I've been saying that's been my foundation.
I'm taking the information.
I'm not summing everything up. Hold up. Let me see if I can sum everything up.
And flipping it on you, bro. That's the problem.
Let me
flip it on me if you ain't never acknowledged it. You don't have the knowledge for the numbers to flip it on me, bro.
I
Hey, Flu,
can't.
let me.
If I don't acknowledge it, I can't flip it on you. Hence the reason
And your
you're not
numbers are
trying to.
irrelevant
Hence
because
the
you're
reason
going
you're not
off of
trying to
Danny
let me get
Garcia's
it
fight. You're
off.
not going off of a 50-50 fight.
Okay,
Go,
I
This
guess.
is a 50-50
go ahead.
fight. It's
My
different.
bad. My bad.
You don't know what the numbers are going to be, so you can't tell me about what ifs. I'm going off of what's already been
But you don't know the
substantiated.
numbers
No,
either, because there's never
you.
been a fight of this magnitude with two top fighters with all belts, 50-50 fight. It wasn't like
There
this with
has
Garcia.
been. What do you mean?
Wait,
Undisputed?
Not
There's never
right
been an
now. Right now,
undisputed
hold
fight
up.
in
I'm talking
boxing.
about there hasn't been a Spence fight like that or a Crawford fight. This is the big mega
There's never
fight.
been an
But J
undisputed
Rock, you
fight
This
in
is a
understand
mega
boxing.
this too,
fight.
J Rock too. When it comes to those big fights, it's big money too. So when you put big money in there, you're still gonna lose in that. You might lose in that fight. You still
So you
might
think
lose
you think
promoting that
Canelo's the
fight
only one that can sell?
because
You
with
got
that,
you know.
hold up. I
It's
let y'all
shown
speak.
Canelo's the only one that can sell. The numbers don't lie. It's like, what are you
Listen.
guys talking
So when you
about?
see the
You're not
Garcia
a
fight,
fucking.
right?
You don't work for boxing. We're
Like,
just all fans. The numbers are the only thing we can go off of. It's
right,
not about
Garcia
y'all
fight
speculation.
is not a draw, right?
Those numbers don't fit the scenario.
The Garcia fight, you're right. That's not a 50-50 fight. You're right. So the money that being dispersed out is not, it's going to be as much. You got to take that in consideration too. So that's
Yeah, I
why
don't know.
it's taking so long, because you don't want to give Crawford what he wants to look at the books and stuff. And Spence is like, all right, it's going to be one of my biggest paydays.
Oh, no doubt. But
Whatever that
my
may
thing
be.
is that I know. It's just being a boxing fan. You know that this fight's
Right.
gonna
So
sell more than
you
Danny
a
Garcia
boxing
fight.
fan. So
You
you're a
know this fight's
fanatic.
gonna sell more than Danny Garcia fight. If you don't think that, then I mean, you're just
No,
basically
no,
you're
And
it's
not
for
being
going to
you,
go
honest with
up.
her.
is the
Uh,
payout for the Danny Garcia fight going to be the same as the Terrence Crawford and Errol
That's what I'm
Spence fight?
saying. So it balances out. So if it goes 350,000,
Like, goddamn, y'all not do business.
the
Like,
money's
what
not going to
you
be the
guys
same.
do?
All right, fine. But Bud has been making I don't know what the narrative. Bud has been making more than $1 million for each of his fight for the past 6 years or whatever the everyone's been saying. You don't think he's gonna make a hit more than $1 million for this fight?
It's not about what he's
Yeah.
making. It's about the people who are paying him
That's
and
what
what
it's
they get
about.
back.
It is about what he's making.
No.
That's the
Oh
reason
He
why the
my
fight
can't.
has
God.
been made.
Listen, $1
This is
million
why I can't
is not
have
going to
this
be substantial
conversation.
enough for him for
Oh
this
my
fight.
God.
$1 million not enough for this fight for him because he's a promoter
No,
now,
no, no,
and
no.
that's
What I'm
what
saying is
shifted.
he's gonna hit more. He's gonna make more money than his other fights.
Right, but
That's
I
for
got to
sure.
know
That's my
how
only
much.
thing.
I got to
It's
know.
already look,
It's
y'all. I'm not even gonna
probability.
lie. It's past the time. It's like, so this is just going and start. Like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm like, cause it's like y'all don't understand the business aspect. It don't matter if Terrence Crawford is gonna make more. I'm not talking about what Terrence Crawford is making. You have to look at who is paying these fighters. I'm telling you, the promoters, Bob Earl, Eddie Hearn, Al Haym, they've all came out and they said they don't know what they'll make off of this fight. So that's why they're weary of
Exactly.
paying them a certain amount. That's all it comes down to. Y'all want to talk about BOK Prime was in the hotel of Ramada Inn, but they
But they got
paid
paid.
this motherfucker. They paid him. So that's my point. People are an investment. You know what an investment is? An investment is I'm willing to put down this amount of money and hope that I get more back, but I'm taking a risk. People do not think the risk is worth the reward when it comes to Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Yeah, they're going to get a lot of money, but who's willing to pay that money? That's the
It's all
question.
about probability. It's about probability. What's my probability on this? They
Right.
forecast.
Which is why Spence didn't agree to a guarantee, and Bud wants a guarantee. So then, who's really holding him to fight?
None of that matters.
If Spence said it does matter, if Spence said, okay, fine. Look at what you just said. That we don't know how much. No one's willing to
You
invest
keep
in this
coming back
fight.
to
So
the
Spence
fighters.
said, okay,
You're
fine.
not talking
I'll
about.
take the
That's
fight
not
without a
enough.
guarantee. But Bud's not willing to do that. Why isn't he willing to do that? If
We have.
Spence said he would take a non-guarantee.
You won't understand, J Rock, because we're having different conversation. I'm like, you're talking
Yeah.
about it from an employee aspect. You're not talking about it from the actual
From a
company
boss.
aspect.
Like,
And
yeah.
I'm like, I'm not a boss of my own shit. I'm not. I'm an employee. But it's like the
Look,
shit I do. Like I get this the
look.
factor of it because there's a lot of contract negotiation, all this type of stuff. So it's like I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm actually kind of agreeing with you saying that Terrence Crawford versus Earl. Well, I don't know if you may think Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence is a big draw. Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence isn't a big draw. If you're saying they might make 800,000 for what you're talking as far as pay-per-view, when's the last time someone did that? Dub said, well, Canelo did it. Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford is nowhere near Canelo's level. Canelo's
And that's why
he's
He's a
that's where I
Mexican
disagree
champion.
respectfully, because I don't think you guys are giving these fighters enough credit. I get on other channels, which I like your channel because everyone's respectful, and I've gone on channels where I'm always here having this argument, and they're like, "Oh, you're a fucking cuck for black people, this and that," and I'm like, "Bro, like
No, we ain't on that time.
No, no, yeah. But I'm just saying, I,
It'll
I,
get
I basically
aggressive.
see
We'll
the
cut each
potential
other
in
off.
this
There's
fight.
number one.
Yeah. No, there's some you man. You stopped posting for a while, and I was like, man, when is Fu gonna post some fucking live so we can have a real conversation, man? These guys are some crazy shit, oh no, Spence he can't sell for shit. Crawford can't sell for shit. It's just Canelo. So if it's just Canelo, like you guys, like we don't have faith in the black fighter that they can sell a fight. I
It's not
mean,
that. It's not that.
then what
It's
is
not
it
about
then?
not having faith in the black fighter. It's off the fact that both of them, I do think they will make maybe like 400,000, 500,000 pay-per-views, but it's not going to be able to get the return. Like, I truly do believe there's one thing Bob Arum is old man. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I call him old man Bob Arum because he tells the truth. And I do believe if someone is willing to pay both of the fighters what they want, they're going to lose money on it. Because you're talking about two fighters in their late 30s, or not in their late 30s, one in their somewhat early 30s, someone's coming in their mid 30s. A fight that's supposed to be happen maybe 2 to 3 years ago. Like, it's hard for me to really believe that this particular fight is going to be able to do the numbers of a Canelo versus, unfortunately, above all. And please remember this too. The reason why Canelo gets so many pay-per-view numbers is because he's with DAZN, and DAZN's pay-per-views are lower than the actual pay-per-view numbers. You only have to pay, you can be a subscription, and it's like what, $45 or whatever. Then they
No,
include
you still have to pay for
sport.
you still have if for Canelo you still have to pay an additional pay-per-view
That's what I said.
bill
I'm
for
like
that.
you pay the subscription, and then the pay-per-view is like what, $45, $35. So in somebody's mind, it still seems cheaper because the subscription is, per month, and then you got to pay a discount, and then they also include BT Sports. They include the UK people, and they only have to pay like $20 for the pay-per-view. So Canelo's numbers are inflated. Period. DAZN's
Mm.
always overpaid their fighters. Period. But unfortunately, just like when Floyd was doing this thing, that's what everyone is judging everything off of. So even though Gervonta Davis versus, I forgot who I just said, he did
Right.
what, 200,000. That's actually a good number in the US for how much they're paying. But the people are looking at it and saying, all right, I got to pay Errol Spence this amount. I got to pay Terrence Crawford this amount. Do we think we're going to be able to hit the numbers where we get our money in return? And US promotions are very, very weary of doing that.
And
The zone
Flo,
and
I
Eddie
would
Hearn
think
has
Flo,
showed to do that. They don't
Flo, let me
mind
just pick
losing
you
money
back.
for the zone.
Flo, let me say
But
one thing. I'm gonna pick you, and not only that, they want to know how much they're going to make over top of that in their investment. Go ahead, finish. That's all.
so
That's
it's
it.
like it's like it sounds like I'm disagreeing with people and I go hard, you know what I'm saying? I know Let's Talk About It. He was probably mad. He's good. It sounds like I'm disagreeing with, but I'm agreeing with y'all. But at the same time, I'm just trying to let the people know is numbers are always inflated. Canelo is the top guy, but he's not nearly near Floyd because Floyd was selling what he was selling in US pay-per-views. Niggas was paying $90 for his shit.
Yeah.
Canelo, there's a lot of people paying $20 for his pay-per-view and it's being added on, right? So you guys have to understand in the day and age that we're in right now, as much as
What
I hate it, I understand why Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence is not being made. It's because unfortunately we're in a day and age where people are going to stream it, bootleg it, and on top of that, we have a card coming up this weekend. A lot of you probably don't know. It's social media, and I promise you that pay-per-view card is going to do at least 400K in pay-per-view buys. Casual fans are not interested as much in this boxing world as they possibly could have because now we have all these other outlets. So that's all that's all I'm trying to tell the people.
they want
I
to be
can
more
even
entertained
yeah,
because the
I can even tell the
YouTube
people
boxers feel like they know him.
yeah, I can even tell the people Terrence Crawford. I say I think Terrence Crawford is overpricing himself. That's a big reason why this fight isn't happening. But it's like I
Right.
can't
Yeah.
blame him for overpricing himself because, like, think about this. If you're a dude, you feel like you're the top employee, right? And maybe you're not. And you're like, yo, boss, give me a $10 raise. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna give you that. And all of a sudden someone comes around and says, hey man, I'm gonna give you $100 raise. Come work with me. You're gonna say, okay, yeah, I bet. You go work with them, they fire you after 6 months. If you go back to your boss and you say, well, I was with them, they gave me $100 raise. You think they're gonna match that? They're gonna be like, nah, I'll still give you the $10 raise. That's my point. That's how I look at shit. So I'm like, I'm not over here being a Terrence Crawford fan. I'm just trying to be base where I'm saying, one, Terrence Crawford overpriced himself. That's a fact.
All
But he
right.
did get
Yeah.
it back.
That's my only argument that's what he did. He's
He over,
overpricing himself.
I disagree with y'all. You can't tell
Okay.
somebody how much they owe, how much they worth. You can't tell somebody what they worth. I can't tell you what you worth. You can't tell me what I'm worth.
That's fair enough.
Like you can't tell. It's impossible.
Well, that's what he's doing to himself though. When he wants a guaranteed and he's not willing to bet on the back end, he's doing that's what he's doing to himself. When you put a
Well, real
guarantee,
quick.
He's willing to take.
you're
He
putting a
willing to
worth on
take that.
yourself. You're
Well, real
putting
quick.
you're putting a number on yourself. You're not.
He didn't add. He actually said he was okay with no guarantee. He just wanted to see the books. He just said,
He
"Yo,
wanted to
let
see
me
the
see how
books.
much I have to spend," because he
Yeah,
wants to
he
know how much
first.
is going to end up coming in.
Yeah, he didn't want no. He didn't care about the guarantee. He said he wanted to make it on the door and stuff like that because everybody going to stream the pay-per-views and stuff like that, and they're going to bootleg it. So you're not going to really make as much money as we think we're going to make off that. So that's why he wants the door and stuff like that and the percentage. He don't want and look at the books. He don't want a guarantee.
He wanted a guarantee. He came out and said they didn't give me a guarantee.
Where
No,
are
he
you
didn't.
seeing that at?
Yeah,
Show me
He
where
his
he
said
most
said
that.
that.
recent interview. His most recent interview. He said that
He
he was
said
okay with not having a guarantee.
not
Was
It was
this
like
yeah.
after
I did
the
a
David
YouTube
Amnesia
live
fight?
on it.
Was that after the David fight?
I did a whole YouTube live on that joint. I'm like excuse me, J Rod. Terrence Crawford, he came out and he said he was like, I was okay with not having, like, he agreed to not having a guaranteed. He just wanted to be like, yo, what am I, if we're gonna be, co-promotional, I just want to see all my expenses because I have to understand what I'll be spending to what I'll be bringing in because I want to be specific on what I'll be making.
Okay, but was this after the David fight though, or was it before that? Because
Yeah,
from
it was
what
before and after. It was before. It was both. He
no,
talked
not
about it
before.
before and after.
Before his argument was that he wasn't getting a guarantee. If he said that afterwards, honestly, I don't know that because I really stopped following his videos. I stopped following all the
I'll
why
do a
it didn't
live stream about
happen.
it
But
tomorrow.
I seen him say before saying that he wanted that they didn't give him a guarantee. I seen him say that. He said that. Maybe if he said
No, he said
afterwards,
that, and he said he agreed to it, and he said he agreed to not having a guarantee.
afterwards he probably said that to try to save face because he came out with all these excuses. Everything that came
He
out of
said
this
it
guy's
before,
mouth
man.
just
I
made it
did.
seem like
I have a
I never
YouTube
heard him
video
say he's taking the
literally
guarantee.
doing a whole. Yeah, I did a whole YouTube video on it.
Yeah, as when you promote yourself, you're not taking a guarantee. As a
Yeah, you
promoter,
can't.
you can't take it. That's because that's called that's like being an agent and playing basketball at the
It's
same
against the
time.
Muhammad Ali. It's against the Muhammad Ali Act. You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that. So therefore, he's not doing that. He's a promoter. He's seeing a percentage on the door and stuff. He's been saying that. I never seen him say that he's getting a guarantee. If you can show me any videos or something saying he's getting a guarantee or he won a guarantee, I would love to see that, J Rock.
I'm pretty sure the video where, and again, it's been a
No
while.
video
I'm
that
pretty
you
sure the
saw.
video where he's sitting down on the couch and in all red suit or not suit or like whatever, wearing a
Yeah,
red
I
beanie
did
or
a
whatever.
live. I
That's when he
broke
said it.
that
That's when he said,
particular
they didn't want to
video.
give me a guarantee.
J Rock,
They
That's
don't.
J Rock, that particular video. I did a whole live hour. I broke that whole thing down. I broke that whole thing down.
right. If it wasn't that,
He
and I
said
know.
he agreed to not having a guarantee. He said, okay, if you don't want me to have a guaranteed purse, that's fine. I'll take the percentages. But all I'm asking from you is that I need to see the books to see what I am spending and what I am paying for so I can know what I'm going to get back based off of what I actually get from the entirety of the fight. And that's normal. Hey, if you're not gonna give me a guaranteed, I'm making a percentage off of the ticket sales, I'm making a percentage off the pay-per-view sales, that's fine. But I also need to be making sure that I can track, all right, how much is going to be for the flight? How much is going to be for the hotel for me to put my family in? How much is going to be for, me giving out some free tickets? I need to see all of it because I need to deduct whatever that is from the possibility of what you're giving me. So when I get that check, I ain't looking at it and saying, whoa, I was expecting more. So that's it.
Facts.
But wait, what I'm gonna say right now, look, this is a fire panel. Yeah, and I get mad at y'all, man. I'm not even gonna lie. I love y'all, but I get mad at y'all because I'm like every time I'm like, man, I wanna be asleep. I was supposed to stop this at 11:30. We at 12:20. It's
Where are you at?
already.
You moved?
I'm in Central Time.
Weren't you here in Cali, or you moved somewhere? You moved somewhere else?
Nah, I've been out of Cali for a long time. I'm Central Time. I'm in Memphis, bro.
Oh, shut up. This morning you said something about San Bernardino before. I'm tripping.
That's where I'm from. I'm from San Bernardino County.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
you live in Memphis though.
Yeah, I stay in Memphis though.
Wow. Okay.
So it's
Great.
late.
Well, post some more content, man. I've been looking for you to drop the
I
live and
got you,
shit.
bro. I'm gonna be on it. I had a little mishap, you know what I'm saying? Some shit happened. I'm on my way back up. But y'all gonna see I'm gonna stay consistent with the shit. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate J Rock for real. Because I love, like, as much as it might get heated, it's nothing but love. What I love about y'all, even Dub went out here because Dub get crazy. He'll go at you, but I love that everyone like what I'm saying. It's not no like bullshit where niggas is trying to come at each other. Nothing. It's just people is passionate, and that's why I want to keep it. I always want different opinions, but not on no disrespectful type shit. You know what I'm saying? I always
Listen,
want it
man,
to be.
I got
that's
thick
cool, man.
skin. I like to clown around. I'm that's who I am. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mean no disrespect by come at people, whatever the case may be. But I'm playful. You know what I'm saying? I don't take nothing too serious. So we talk about
No,
my internet.
everybody on this panel is cool as fuck, man. Trust me.
I'm
I've been
good.
ever since you stopped posting videos. I'll hop on other ones, and I'm just like, God damn, like you
Yeah,
guys
they'll
call
come.
each other this type of shit, like fuck, like.
They'll make it
And I'm over
personal.
here like,
You
man,
go
I'm
from
over here like,
boxing, they
hey,
start talking about your life like nigga, you don't even know me like that.
yeah, I'm over here repping for Spence, he's a good dude. Oh, F that dude, you're Mexican and you fuck with him.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck does that got to do with anything? Like,
they'll make
I
it
tell
personal, bro.
bro,
They-
I've been called a cuck. I've been called everything you can think of. I'm like, man, fuck you guys, man. I watch all the fights. I don't fuck with race and any of that shit. If they're a good fighter, Spence is my favorite. Spence is damn near as top as Canelo for me. I fuck with Spence heavy. But nah, these guys are fucking wild, bro. I'm just like, man, this dude needs to post a fucking video, man, and get some real competition because these motherfuckers are wild out here.
They do, and that's why I be wanting to keep it like I want everyone to go like I want y'all to be passionate, go crazy, but I want to keep it just strictly boxing. Like I never want to go where like motherfuckers is calling each other's names and nothing like that. But we can clown and have fun. Like I'm good with that, but because it's nothing but love. We older, we get it. But I do want to salute to everybody. Any last words? Go ahead. Let's talk about any last words before we get up out of here. You want to tell the people?
Man, salute to you. You know what I'm saying? Go follow my page. Let's talk about it. Some good content on there. Haven't posted nothing in a while. I don't have too many followers. I need some of your input, some of your influence on my page, so I know how to hook it up. I'm not too swift on that, but I love talking this boxing thing. I'm not as worldly as y'all, but I'm learning a lot from this page too. So that's why I always keep coming. So
Let's
I
talk
mean,
about
y'all
it.
have a
You're
blessing.
on YouTube. You got a channel on YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube. We're talking about I do myself I'm an herbalist, so I heal shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So I
okay.
talk about cayenne pepper, how I heal people, cinnamon and stuff like that.
Post a
I
link
talk
on it
it's
or
called Let's Talk
push
About.
your
Let's talk
channel.
about everything though. What's up?
Yeah, for real. Like on that, let's talk about it, man. Don't ever like whenever you if you even know if you don't ever even get in the like when we talking in the chat, like if you just in the regular chat, man, always drop your links. I'm always good with that. Promote you a
Okay.
herbalist, man. That's why what I'm saying, because I be on my workout shit, but I need to get what I'm saying, I used to be mad on my supplementation type thing, but I ain't really been on it. So yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
mad into that. So drop your links, all that stuff. I ain't got nothing but support. I'm
I
always
definitely
with
will.
promotion.
Oh
I ain't
And,
yeah,
never
I,
got
drop the
to
link,
and
man.
it's about everything. It's about battle rap. It's about all things. It's called Let's Talk About It. We talk about it. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
drop your
So
shit, man.
controversy,
Post it,
whatever.
man.
So
Post it. I'll follow for sure.
Facts.
Now let me just hit one thing real quick before I get off, man. I
yeah.
appreciate you posting, man, because I've been waiting for just a normal conversation and shit, and I can say it on this channel without being called whatever. Tank gonna knock the fuck out of Ryan Garcia. I'll tell you that shit right now. I'll bet any money
I
anybody
second that
wants.
motion.
And see,
I'll
this is
bet
how I know.
anyone
Because
anything.
I'm like J Rocks. It's funny. It's opposite for us because Ryan Garcia is from not where I'm from, but he's the area.
Nigga,
So I'm Ryan
yeah.
Garcia all day. Don't ever disrespect Garcia like that. That's
Nah, bro. I can
Let's
say
go,
it here.
Tank.
I feel comfortable saying it here. Out there, I was saying to everybody, like, what the fuck?
nah, Garcia,
No,
my
I
dog.
think I think no, I think Tank is gonna he got him, bro. Everybody underestimates his boxing, but he's gonna catch him. He's gonna catch him around the 8th round. He's gonna knock him out. He took
Okay.
Luke Campbell's shot and stood up, but he ain't taking his fucking heat. I'll tell you that right now.
Point. I ain't mad at it. Luke Campbell's a lot taller than but Javante can close the diff. He's a much superior boxer than Luke Campbell. I do agree with that. But I ain't never gonna go against Ryan Garcia. He from close to where I'm from, so I'll never go against him. Ryan Garcia all day. Today I die. I don't give a fuck. Nigga.
I
You know
will
where
say
Ryan
this
Garcia.
though. If Tank goes the distance with anybody, he'll lose the fight.
Yeah, but that's his fact. I don't know if anybody will go to distance with him because as much as I be like he be getting outboxed, he really do got that power because they get touched, and I'd be like, damn. I'm like, I want to
Well,
knock
he
people.
beat a Pitbull and he beat a Gamboa.
Oh yeah, that's true. Pitbull and
Nah.
Gambo.
Pitbull was a fight for him. He don't want to fight Pitbull no more because the difference with that, cause he was fighting down. He was fighting down. He's not used to fighting down.
I will say this
And,
for that fight: Pitbull was a late replacement, so he wasn't prepared for that fight. I think it would
but
have been different if he was
but
prepared
you
for
gotta understand,
Pitbull.
when you used to fighting up all your life, like fighting tall people, then you have to fight down. It's a
That's a
big
good point.
adjustment, and you should know that.
Yeah, no,
You
yeah,
should know
which
that.
is why having a better training camp and sparring in smaller fights would have
It
helped them out
doesn't
more.
matter. It doesn't matter. It's just an adjustment because the sparring
But wait,
partner is not better than the actual fighter.
y'all finna go back and forth. J-Rock, any
Yeah,
last
yeah.
words?
I'm sorry. My bad. My
That's
bad.
it, bro. I
Go ahead, bro.
got 100 on tank, and just let me know.
I got
We'll
All
talk
right,
plenty.
about
man.
it.
Salute y'all. I appreciate J-Rock. I appreciate you coming back here and always love because I'm like, you always the exact opposite of what my opinion is. So I appreciate that. Let's talk about it. You always come in here with the knowledge, the calmness. I appreciate you, Dub. You know what I'm saying? Dub always comes here with the passion. Like me and Dub, we go at it crazy. Dub had to get out of here because he was going crazy. We was going at it. Like we could get into it. But
Flu, you know who Ralph Tresvant is?
yo.
He's from New Edition. The lead singer
Oh shit.
who
Okay,
sang
that makes
Mr.
sense.
Sensitivity. I need a man with some sensitivity.
Now I get it, bro. Now
Now
I
you
get
get
it. Yeah, I get it. I was like, before I was like, man, what you talking about? But Dub ain't gonna like that. Dub like, man, I don't be sensitive. I just be passionate about the fights. But I'm not even going.
it. Getting off
But
he always getting off like, oh man, I'm out of here.
yeah, Dub had to get him out of here because you can tell Dub was ready to go crazy. Dub was ready to go crazy, bro. But nah, I appreciate y'all for real.
This will go
I may be
bananas,
back
son.
tomorrow. We'll see. It depends on what the topic is, but it won't be too long. It's like maybe I'll take a day out, but I always end up probably going. But I appreciate y'all for real. I'm gonna get up out of here, but we're gonna be back for sure. Appreciate you, J Rock. Appreciate you. Let's talk about it.
All right, J Rock. All right,
Subscribe.
Flo.
Y'all say y'all like
Post a link.
yeah.
That way I can follow the channel.
I'm
Post
gonna do
that
it now.
link. Yeah, I'm gonna
All
let you
right,
post
sure.
the link real quick before I end this joint.
I got you.
Salute though, man. Way later than I thought. 12:30, man. Y'all be doing this every night. I'm finna be sleepy than a motherfucker at work. But it'd be worth it though. I'll be having nothing but a good time. You post that joint?
I'm posting it now. You know
All
I'm
right.
slow, man. You know I got Android, so I ain't got the iPhone like yo.
No, I got the Android too, bro. I got two Androids. Both of them. I had to switch over. I'm like, for some reason, my other Android, that shit ain't. I can't hear nobody back, so I got to go to my older phone. I'll be on my Kevin Gates. Got two phones, one for the plug and one for the hose. Damn, he's supposed to post the link and he left. That's that. He must have the
I'm about to get
version.
off. I'll follow the link.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, much love, J Rock. We out. Enjoy the rest of your night. Number love, man. Appreciate y'all. We out of this bit.